Up next, we have Alaeus running Mario Galaxy 2, and we have met the incentive for the perfect run. So at the end of the run, they will be doing the perfect run. We'll throw it over you. We'll throw it over to you, Alaeus.
Alright. Hello, you all wonderful people. I'm gonna apologize in advance for sounding a bit low, probably at the moment. That's not due to a setup issue, most likely, although there's probably gonna be some setup to adjust, but it's 5:30 a.m. in Europe, and I don't want to wake up the entire neighborhood, though I'll probably just do it anyways, because I get passionate about this. That said, quick round of introductions. Um, I'm Alaeus. I will be the runner, commentator, host. I just prefer to run solo for these kind of things. Um, we're going to be doing Super Mario Galaxy 2. This category is a bit of an unusual one. Category is Green Stars, which is actually a part of the game that a lot of people never got to experience because you need to fully complete, quote-unquote, the game on all of the 120 regular stars. And if you do that, you can unlock the 120 green stars that are just scattered around throughout the game, and you need to collect them in order to unlock the final level, which is the perfect run, which we are gonna do thanks to all your donations. I hope I will be able to nail it pretty well. The category tends to be very fast-paced. Galaxy is kind of a reputation for a game that's not super fast. There's a lot of cutscenes, intermissions, etc. Green Stars is very fast-paced. The levels are not super. It is very similar in that sense to in the feel that it gives me to Super Mario 64 120 stars. That short levels, fast-paced. Boom, you go in, do stuff. And I guess that without further ado, we can start a countdown if you want to start a run. So I don't know who wants to give a countdown, but we can probably start.
We can give you a countdown if you'd like.
Alright, well then I'm ready when you are.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright. Now, this category is a very cool benefit if I don't know if by any chance anybody wants to run this category, somebody wants to just have fun with it, etc. It's a very fast intro. You just press start, quick 30-second cutscene, you're in. It's very beneficial for a lot of things. It's very beneficial for just resets. Obviously, you don't have to wait 5 minutes. If you're familiar with Super Mario Sunshine, yeah. Before the whole hacked file business, etc., just having to wait 5 minutes to start a run every single time was no good, obviously. This just goes in really quickly. I just immediately do a different route than everybody else because obviously I have to be different, I have to be the creative Italian. But memes aside, I do this particular route because there's this first trick already at the very beginning, obviously. That tends to be quite hard, and can tend to lose runs to it, so we're just going with this one. So we're going in real quick with a trick that's very characteristic of this game. And every single time Nintendo decided to add Yoshi in a game, it's always completely broken. And this one is no different. I will get into the technicality of the thing. Oh, I even got the fast. Oh no. Damn it. Almost got the very fast thing, but that didn't work out. So I will get into the technicalities of this a bit later because there's a world of stuff to explain about this, but just take it as a granted, infinite flutter. And I messed it up, of course. See, at least I can give you a good explanation of why this is the first level you do in the run. So, of course, I could have just gone for the normal strat. And normally, if I have a race, I go for the easier strat. But, of course, in this situation, I just want to show you all the tricks and parts of the game, so I really want to get this right. I mean, not that you're not gonna see a lot of other Yoshi flutters anyways, but trust me, this game has probably like at least 20 stars, which have at least an element of Yoshi fluttering around in it. So, oh, come on. Okay, there we go. So we skip a planet, complete planet, just doing this. Also now I died, so not a lot of time saved, but normally it saves about 10 to 15 seconds to just go in and do the planet. And yeah, it is what it is. You can just basically, I said I'm going to the technicality, but of course here I am. You can use the crouching animation on Yoshi to reset the flutter timer, and you can do it for a while before a system that the game implements to stop you from doing this cuts your speed completely. Like your momentum is completely killed, so you have a limited amount of time to make it through, and you have to do the flutter in that amount of time. Generally it's about 10 seconds, I think. I'm not sure about exactly how much time it is, but it feels about 10 seconds. You have to complete your flutter before that, or else your momentum gets completely killed. You stop in the middle of the air, you cannot do anything. There's other ways to get your momentum killed, but again, it's stuff that's very technical, might be easy to explain in other circumstances. B, I'm going to die for this. So, we'll get immediately over to the next 2 stars in this stage, which are very, very movement-based technical stuff, but there's not a lot of tricks in it. It's just using the game's primary movement option, which is the long jump. Of course, long jump fan favorite. They tried to remove it one time, Super Mario Sunshine. Well, I mean, that at least has some other methods to compensate, but aside from that, the good old long jump is always the reliable one in Mario games, and this one is no different. Also, yeah, I see some discussion in the chat. Yeah, we're playing Luigi, of course. I mean, the game technically gives you the choice between Mario and Luigi. Since Luigi runs faster and jumps longer and higher, why would I pick Mario? I mean, it seems like... To my knowledge, there's no Green Stars run that's ever been done with Mario. So, kind of gives the picture. Therefore, I cannot... Usually when I run Super Mario Galaxy 1 here, in the marathons, etc., I can give you all the insight about all the tricks that are Luigi exclusive, because Luigi jumps higher, but I would do the same, but I literally have no record whatsoever of anybody ever trying to run this category for Mario, so... What? Sure. I tried to avoid the cutscene trigger, but it still... I must have, like, clipped it a tiny bit. Except it was that slow. Okay, so this is the first world done. Second world is the second galaxy, sorry. I can say world, but here, world, galaxy, universe, like, it gets very confusing. I, for one, being a science enthusiast and engineer, cannot understand how a world is full of galaxies, but sure, we'll get over that later. And yeah, and we're gonna collect the other 3 green stars here. Most worlds do have 3 green stars. Some of them have 2 green stars. Generally, there's the same amount of green stars as there are normal stars in the world. So here you see 3 normal missions, 3 green stars. And normally they're hidden away. Sometimes very well, sometimes not. You'll see in a second what I mean by that. Come on, Luigi. Yeah, this whole being hidden around aspect is a cool part of this category and allows you to experiment with movement that normally you wouldn't see in other categories. Unless we're talking to 2.2, which obviously is. Wow. This is really not that great. So yeah, this one is for instance, one of the culprits of being, well, very well hidden, I think. I remember stumbling upon it in my casual playthrough and I'm thinking, well, I was really lucky getting this. I don't remember how, but I was really lucky getting this because I also would have been paying to find. But normally, a very important tidbit of information that not everybody got whenever they were playing this is you can technically listen to a sound cue. Like, when you get close to a star, you can hear like tingling of the star. And yeah, that's what goes on there. You just have to pay attention to the sound sometimes. So, as I said, a lot of very well hidden stars. So, we're gonna have to find them all. And then there's the ones like this, which are like, why did I do? He do be like that, long jump, backflip, done. It's not the only culprit, there's not a lot of those, but I guess it makes sense. It's an introductory one. They need to show you like, alright, they're gonna be hidden, they're gonna be a bit of out of the way from the normal path. Gotta find them. So, you will see me do a lot of things that might not make a lot of sense, like entering Green Star 1, doing Green Star 2, or entering Green Star 1, doing Green Star 3. Everything that you see is done for the sake of cutscenes. If you've cleared a mission or entered a mission and then cleared it, it doesn't matter which star you cleared it, it only matters if you cleared it. You're gonna be able to skip the cutscenes on entry. I cannot do this with this Green Star, because this Green Star is located in the Sky Station Star 2. So it's a different mission than Sky Station Star 1. But for the first two, I was able to enter Green Star 1 and collect Green Star 2 first and then Green Star 1. That way when I enter the second time, I'm able to skip the cutscenes, which are about 14 seconds on average, which is not a good pro of this category. You're able to skip those cutscenes a lot. There's a few stages that have 3 Green Stars in one mission, so you only see the cutscene plays. Moment was a bit shaky, but I worked out.
Is now a good time to read a blurb?
Yeah, sure. Wait, actually. I'm gonna do one trick before you can do that, and then sure, just go with the donations afterwards. But there's a trick that they like to call the Yeetmobile, and just by the name you can understand it's pretty important. So it's gonna take, sorry Frey, it's gonna only take like 30 seconds of your time. You're gonna be able to see it in action immediately at the start of the level. And it is that the long jump momentum interacts with moving objects in a really interesting way. I'm just only gonna say that and then show to you and you see what happens. Alright, feel free to read the donations.
So, this marathon is benefiting the Trevor Project, which is the world's largest suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for LGBTQ young people. The organization works to save young lives by providing support through free and confidential suicide prevention and crisis intervention programs on platforms where young people would spend their time. Their 24/7 phone lifeline, chat, text, and soon-to-come integrations with social media platforms. They also run Trevor Space, the world's largest safe space social networking site for LGBTQ youth, and operate innovative education, research, and advocacy programs. A wonderful, wonderful charity, so definitely get your donations in.
And they indeed are a wonderful bunch of people, as are the rest of the staff running this event, really. So far, I've been following everything, mainly because, I mean, can't go to sleep if I ever run 5 AM. So I've been following every single minute of it, both lurking and talking to other people about it. Oh, that was a really nice outcome there. He died. Luigi, I would really appreciate though if you stopped doing that. Alright. as I was saying before Luigi rudely interrupted me, there are really a bunch of great people, great events. I've done my fair share of online marathons by now, and all of them are cool. This one is also cool. I'm not gonna play any favorites in this sense, but pretty nice. So now, after we've utilized the Yeetmobile a couple of times, it's time to forget about it for a couple of levels and go straight into Spin Dig. Now, the main gimmick of this galaxy is using a power-up that's more like a power-down, because when you do have this power-up, quote-unquote, you cannot do much. And that is, you cannot spin, or rather, you can spin, but you start digging through the ground. And we don't like that, because spinning normally gives height. Right? So normally you want to use spinning to do stuff. But we cannot do that now, so... Well, let me just skip the first planet real quick. Alright, done. So you'll see the spin drill operating soon. Just gonna have to use it to get through this planet. And we're immediately gonna use a clip here. Okay, I failed, obviously. It's been a while since I've done this. Practice, do your practice, guys. Never forget, people, do your practice. So alright, so normally you are not able to, obviously, you need to go down on the left side, you need to walk a bit, and you need to come down the right side, but if you do that flip, which just is the movement that the machine does in relation to the wall, you can just do that pretty quickly, just, you know, the right side. More easily. And other green stars, just gonna do a quick triple jump. Alright. So... Okay. Now we're gonna do another star in the quick level. You've probably seen it by passing. This is a bit of a meme. Some stars you can see by passing. Some stars are really well hidden. Like you could probably see the star coming there. You might ask yourself, why didn't I get it first? The answer is just so I can mash when I enter the level, literally. That's just the only reason we do this second. Sometimes you might see me do stars slightly out of order, but it's generally due to cycles whenever they benefit the particular star being done first. In this case, there's no cycle whatsoever, so we're just going to do the one that allows me to match first. Okay. Now, this one that's coming up now is one of the most interesting stars, I guess. And one that gave people a lot, and I mean a lot, trouble sometimes. But here I'm gonna do something that's generally totally like me, because I like to be like that, alright? And I'm gonna say, this star made it Nathaniel Bandy's hardest stars in the game. And I can understand, because it's really like, it feels like you only have one shot. First I'm gonna do a precise long jump, just get it out of the way. Wait a second. Okay. I need to not touch the ground here, because I also will activate the cutscene spawning the cosmic clones, and I don't want that because it's slow. Now we're gonna enter here. We want to get this. Now, if I'm gonna be able to get this fast, that's good. Okay. I got that bounce, which is really cool. But people are like, well, if you kill that one, how are you supposed to get the star? A lot of people forget that there is a very simple move you can do in this game, that's the side flip, which you can do that. And you can do that even with the drill power-up. Because normally the developers intended for you to get hit, lose the drill power-up, and then you can get the star. But we skip that, because getting hit, falling off is low, obviously. And even in the worst case scenario, when you kill it, you can side flip. Side flipping is a very, very niche technique, but it works. So there you have it. Also, I want to correct the misinformation that's around. You can get the star even if you kill the enemy. You can need just a side flip. That's that best level in the game, or at least top 5 levels in the game. Let's go. This level is a pleasure to the eye if it's done by a competent runner. Which, I mean, tonight I'm not really sure if I am a competent runner, but on average I would say I am. So we'll see if I'm able to complete it fast. I should be, unless I die a horrible death. That's not good. Ready? Lost a tiny bit of time. But no deaths, so that's good. Now you will see a bunch of skips here. These are really, like, not gonna say minor skips, but they are still rapid fire when it comes to the boxes that... The only thing I can say is that you can squeeze through the boxes. And then just do a bunch of complicated, which I know doesn't really explain much, but that's the best way to explain it. Which sounds... Okay, I just saved it really well there. Then, this is a gravity weird moment for the game, which I wasn't even able to show up, but I'll still be able to show with the next star. Yes, the gravity swaps here are completely ignored. We don't skip the gravity, we don't swap the gravity once because it's slow, obviously. So just ignore everything, we don't need it. Oh, I collected the star bit, damn it. You don't want to collect the star bits because you have the tax box, obviously. So you don't want the star bit to... Oh, you collected star bits. Like, no, I didn't want that. Get off my purse. Stupid star bits. Now, when you use the fire flower in a gravity inversion, things get really weird. And by really weird, I mean that you move very slowly in the gravity field, so that can be used. And I hope to use it now. No, that was a bit too far. Fast. I'm gonna kill this. I don't want the risk here. This surface, as you can see, is really tight, and you're really not supposed to be walking on there. So if you're not careful, you can die. And I'd rather take 5 seconds setting up than dying. Okay, that was more like it. Okay, now, fire flowers are really weird in this game. A lot of people that are used to older Marios complain about them being on the timer. Because obviously, fire flower has never been on a timer before, to be honest. But I think it adds a decent layer and it makes them slightly less of a catching scene. And as you can see, the inversion there kind of messed up everything, but by spinning constantly with the fire flower, I'm able to inch closer to the star and still collect the star, even though that's not how it's supposed to work. But hey, we make it work. Alright, now we're gonna get into the power-up that's really a power-up in this game. And when I mean power-up, I mean it's completely bonkers. It's gonna be the Cloud Flower. You see classic introductory level in a Mario game for power-up, which makes perfect sense. The Cloud Flower is very powerful, but it allows you to create clouds with which to stand on, so you create your own platforms in the platformer, which already is kind of powerful. But can be broken in an additional way. If you remember the thing I've said about the long jump momentum being interacting with moving objects really funny. So you'll see now. I mean, not necessarily now, but the thing is, the cloud is a moving object when it's created, and it has upward momentum as a platform. Oh yeah, don't mind the skip. They're just skipping after the level, but I thought that was kind of obvious. I mean, they let us create our own platforms and give us a giant hole in the air without any death walls. Like, come on, dude, we gotta exploit them. Oh, I forgot that this was a thing. Oh yeah, this is the jump. You can just create a cloud under you and just jump to your heart's content. You get a pretty nice boost. I wanted to get the cloud flower because it created one additional cloud that I wasn't supposed to create, but that messed up kind of my rhythm there. Using that technique is paramount to a lot of success in this level and all levels for cloud flower is because it allows you to skip crazy parts. I like that in this game they took a liberal approach with death walls. There's no death barriers around. Some parts they even forgot to actually. There's a barrier, but it's a walkable barrier. Some death barrier. I hope I'm not gonna have to show it to you. If I end up being there, prepare for a lot of silliness as I walk in the middle of nowhere. Like a lot of Luigi's under the main stage as we try to find a way where we can finally meet our maker in order to go on with the run. It can be pretty silly, but it's also pretty fun. Now we're gonna be doing a lot of collecting these. These green stars here are just all centered around. You use the cloud flower to go places, basically. And one of them is even at the start of the stage. And the queue is very, very interesting, I guess, because the stars, they all have a shade. Which I don't understand how a star that emits light can have a shade. But okay. You can see it here. So if you pay attention to the small detail, you already know where every star is when you're playing casually, and all you need to do is just do this. There we go. Also, I tend to have a lot of fun applying normal physics to Mario worlds and see whatever silliness happens. So if you hear me talking about stuff that's weird, then you know why. Especially at 5 AM. From this run, I expect about... I know this is gonna sound really weird, because actually the pace is... Because if you exclude the very first level, the pace is not even too bad. From this run, I expect skill 0, hours slept 0, people in front of me for this world record 0, even though it's actually 3, but I'm not gonna get a world record today. I should still be able to have a pretty good run though. I was really running out of motivation before this run happened, but I really love marathon runs in that, I don't know, I feel free when I'm running a marathon. I'm not under the pressure of PB and golds and all of that stuff. In that sense, it's really refreshing. Not sure if it's a sentiment shared by other runners. In that sense, why am I going to this? But marathon runs are pretty good.
Yeah, marathon runs are great for all the reasons that you just said. It's just a nice and chill time, and you get to showcase an awesome game.
I literally went over the star. That is pretty oof. I mean, not really that oof, given that we get to retry everything. So, hey. Yeah, also, being able to showcase the run to new people is really cool, because there's a lot of really underappreciated games, and Galaxy isn't the most popular Mario game to run, although it still has a pretty decent following. There's always people running the game. But when you're talking smaller games, there's always a lot of very interesting games, even famous titles that have a really weird speedrun, but they're not as popular because people think, okay, this is not gonna work as a speed game. But then your runner comes in, pushes through, becomes a trailblazer for that game, and creates something really unique. But normally they wouldn't really have the chance to show it off because obviously if it's games as popular, it's also really hard to find following for it, all that stuff. But marathon runs, they're pretty cool for all of that. You're able to show off even games that are not necessarily the most popular, and overall show a lot of people. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in here. Doing no reset runs, some people really love it. Some people, I'm afraid, still feel the pressure, even more so, because you're pressuring yourself to finish the run. And I don't know, I just love it's marathon runs and races, especially races in which it's like a community event. You don't feel the pressure. You're like, alright, I'm just gonna go in, do the best job I can. They're really refreshing, and I just think it's really good advice in general. You know, not to take yourself too seriously, not to just focus on one goal. If you're not having fun when you're doing what you love to, do you still love doing it? So, never forget, be it speedrunning, be it sports, be it whatever hobby you have, knitting, cooking, at the end of the day, you still have to do it for fun. Because if you're not doing it for fun, then what's the point? Yeah, you might be doing it as a job, but that's not a hobby anymore. Alright, now I'm gonna take a pretty cool risk, considering that this jump is really hard. Not this one should be easy, but I still mess it up because... unfortunately. It's this one that's pretty hard. Okay, exactly, I messed it up. Because I was completely wrongly set up at the start. See, normally I would really get annoyed at this, but it's whatever, mate. Okay, the momentum there got really weird again. This time it was not working in my favor, but still, I was still able to get it back. That jump is really, really hard. You're weaving back there. I'm gonna jump on this side. At least I can show you this cool jump. Right, nice. See, you have to weave. You have to weave between the collision of the platform, which if you bonk on it, you fall and die. The collision of the saw, which is if you hit it, you get hit, you fall off. Sometimes you can be knocked into the star. That happened to me once, but doesn't happen too often. And obviously just going too far to the left and miss it completely, which is still bad because you die. So it's a really, really weird jump, really not very easy, especially if you don't have the feel for it. It's one of those things where if you're not 100% on top of it, you might fail it. If you're 100% on top of it, you will do it. It's just that you can't fail it. Alright, now we're gonna get the second green star, which was there in front of us. You might be surprised that I'm gonna be able to reach it with the technique I'm gonna use, because it's fairly high in the sky, but it just shows you the power of the spin. See it here, right? You would think, oh, you're gonna triple jump to it, or you're gonna do something weird to it. No, literally just long jump spin, walking spin. You gain crazy height with this deck. Which makes... it just gives you an idea of the power you have in this game. A lot of Mario games have a lot of fast movement horizontally. I mean, take Super Mario Sunshine, right? The hover nozzle and the water slides and all that just give you this very powerful feeling of horizontal movement. And Super Mario 64 too. I mean, you have the triple jumps, of course, but what you do mainly is just roll out, jump dives, spin jumps in Sunshine with dives. It's just horizontal movement over and over again, whereas in this game, the fastest way to move is vertically, which is really gives you the different dimension to the other two games. I play all 4 games, and I have to say, there's a clear divide there between 64, Sunshine, and the Galaxy games. It's really cool. and it really tests you a lot because the way you approach a level, even from scratch, is very different. And for that reason, I really love ROM-hacks, such as Super Mario Sunshine 64 or something. Stuff that mixes the games, right? Because you see, okay, what if this game was made with this different movement set? How would people approach it? Which to me is a really cool concept, especially if you have a mixer between Galaxy or 64 or vice versa. You have this extremely vertical speed-oriented kit in 64. What would 64 be like if it had Galaxy's kit and vice versa? It's really cool. And I guess you can apply it to a lot of stuff. I don't know, Freya, you are an expert in Super Metroid and this stuff. Like, would something be applicable to, like, Metroid 2? Or any other game that you run?
For vertical, if you had more vertical speed?
No, it's more like, what if you took another Metroid's movement set and put it into, put like Super Metroid movement set into Fusion or something else. I don't know if they're different enough, honestly, but I don't know, it sounds like
that would be absolutely amazing. Fusion has 2 horizontal move speeds, Super Metroid has about 50, so you'd have so much more control.
Yeah, so you see that there would be a lot of change and really cool stuff. Now, I'm gonna flutter Yoshi again now, and it's a pretty light flutter, so I'm gonna try to concentrate now. And after that, might take time to reach some more donations, so yeah, or just anything closer both.
No donations, but we can read a blurb.
Right?
You're watching Winter Pride 2020 here on Twitch. We are running from December 11th through the 13th for 24 hours each day. We are benefiting the Trevor Project. To find out more about them, you can use the link to their site in the panels below the stream, or use Bang Charity. If you're interested in donating, you can type Bang Donate in chat. Find the schedule by using Bang Schedule, or incentives with Bang Incentives. Super awesome charity. Definitely stay tuned for the rest of the marathon. There are so many good games coming up.
And indeed, the games will be awesome. The incentives are also looking awesome. It's a shame that the most awesome of them all has already been met. Whoosh. You can't see me on facecam, but whoosh. At any rate, the Hytale Falls Galaxy. This galaxy is the graveyard for runs, and if you see the movement here, you understand why. There's Yoshi flutters, precise movement, technicality all over the place. It's just a level that is a giant barrier. I've had a time where I've had I couldn't get a run past here without losing 20 seconds. It was insane. So there's really a lot of unseen tech that goes on here, unseen stuff. For instance, the flutter that you saw me do, it requires a precise direction of the control stick to be held at all times, else it's gonna just fail. You're gonna just go to the right too much or to the left too much, or you're just not gonna get enough speed. It's one of the toughest flutters in the game. There's also another flutter here. It's like a momentum carry flutter. I'm not gonna do here, but it can't be done. I just go for the strat because the momentum carrying flutter, I never understood how to do it fair. So I'm not gonna try experimenting with it now. I just know the inputs kinda, but also I don't. It's weird. Okay. Went for the safe strat here. Normally what I would do in rounds is just to jump off of it and try to flutter into the star, which you can understand how that's hard. Because control over the momentum you have in that stage is very little, and it's due to how flutters work. If you want to be able to gain speed with the Yoshi flutter, you have to exploit a quirk of the Galaxy physics engine, which is that you gain more speed moving backwards and forwards. Obviously, it's Nintendo. Obviously, it's backward speed. The two things have to be completely go ballistic if they're paired together. So we have this movement engine that if you're floating in the air and hold forward will give you less speed than if you're holding backwards. So to flutter and gain speed, you actually have to hold at least partially towards the back. But there, we're purposely angling ourselves at 90 degrees to the platform. So I have to hold this very, very tight angle that's just a smidge above 90 degrees with respect to the forward-facing direction of Yoshi. Any more, it's gonna be going far off. Any less, I'm not gonna get the speed. So it's really technical. I hope I'm not tiring you with all this technical stuff. And to me, sometimes it's just hilarious how the game is so innocent looking. Even Super Mario 64 has a ton of technical stuff, but at least there you see all the fast movement. Here it's like, oh, there's just this Yoshi running around and fluttering in the sky. I wonder how technical it is. A lot. A hell of a lot. There's a lot of calm between the storms, but there's also a lot of stars, trust me. Now, this stage is weird. We play one star regularly, and the other two are gonna be... The game is broken. We're gonna break the camera for one of them, so... Yeah, sure. I mean, the other one is kind of intentional, you can see it up there, I guess. But here we have to kill these enemies. Star is right here. Again, one of those stars where you have to mostly listen to get it. I think. Alright, now we're gonna get to camera breakage. Now, how this is gonna happen? So we're gonna get the camera older. I don't know if it's Lakitu or whatever it is, because going to first person you never see anything, but the camera gets jammed in the bridge because you're supposed to knock down the bridge, but we're not gonna knock down anything because it's slow. The star is just right below the first ramp, Restart 2. And we're gonna get there without knocking down this bridge. All we're gonna do it is just good old jumping. Okay. Now I'm not getting any coins, so that means I have to wait. Normally, you can see those free coins there. So if you walk forward enough, the camera gets unjammed, just phases through the bridge. But in order to do so, you can also still just walk straight, and if you collect the coins, you know you're on the right path. So if you go on and collect the coins, you can just ignore the fact that the camera's jammed, go straight on, and you'll get a start. Maybe even long jump once or twice for a good measure, so you get more speed. But there I wasn't sure about my path, and in fact I didn't collect any coins, so I knew that was off, so I just waited a tiny bit, let the camera phase off, and come back into view, and then, yeah, sure, then I know where I am. If I remember correctly, you can also first person, but A, that's low, B, that can break everything even more, so... Okay, that's not what I wanted there. Alright, sure. So, this is it for this level. Which isn't a bit crazy sometimes, but... we have... For the rest of World 2, also, by the way, just to give you an idea of the scope of the run, you see the estimate is about 3 hours, 20 minutes. We have to go through 7 worlds. Worlds 1 through 6, and then World S for Secret. For a total of 120 stars. As you can see, I don't even know how many stars we have right now, because they just go very fast. I think every world has 18 green stars, if I'm not mistaken. Besides World S, which has 12, so... Alright. Here, when I run with the Wii U and I run in Japanese, it's always a mess because I always pick the wrong option here and I have to watch the tutorial, which not cool. Now this minigame is really about like how much can you get the dive speed, losing the least amount of height. That's really the name of the game here. And I got a good launch off, which means I lose a tiny bit of speed at the launch, but then I'm able to just gain a load of speed here. As you can see. Well, as for 7, that's also a good point. It is technically the 7th world. So, pretty cool. Never thought about that. 10 points to you, kind stranger. Okay, this star can be a pain to get. And there is always the point where I'm doing runs and I say shoutouts to Super Viper 302 for being an amazing runner and also for missing one of the Lazard stars 5 times in a race. That was fun. But seriously, amazing runner. Check him out if you have the chance. He also does a load of Galaxy 2, Super Mario 64. He also had submitted for this event, I think. If I remember correctly. Alright. Now, you've seen me dodge this star on purpose. Again, usual like cutscene saving, blah blah blah. So, this is gonna be another star to collect, and then we're gonna head through 2 very technical levels, which are the Cosmic Cove, which is it's a water level, but in Green Stars it's kind of a fast water level. I know this sounds weird. There's a lot of tech, especially in Green Stars 3, where you go through a section that's meant to be slow, but it also has some very high speed sections. Vertical, because this is the only way the game goes fast. According to some. But yeah, we're gonna long jump from inside the water, so... Tiny spoiler. Because long jumping from the water is possible, obviously, but... That's not a movement tactics in the game, if you ask yourself, and it's not a Mario weird thingy. It's just that we bamboozled the game engine into thinking we can long jump whereas we cannot, so... Yeah. I guess it's one of the few glitches. I have to say, one cool thing, I guess cool, but also thing for some people. This game has proven itself very resilient to a lot of glitches and sequence breaks, etc. So we don't have sequence breaks in this game, or the other Galaxy games in general. There are none. Like, you can any percent is just beat the game normally. 60 stars in Galaxy 1, 70 stars in Galaxy 2. There's no way to go around it. At least no way to go around it. So it's gonna be interesting. It's one of the games that they'll the best when it comes to resilience to being broken. Basically, there's no other way to put it. Oh, come on. That was really silly. So we haven't gotten into the craziness that can happen with wall kicks, but we'll get into that later. Wall kicks in this game are weird. Not super weird, but weird. As in, wall kicks in every single Mario game have always been on that tight edges in that they feel very different in how they work. Wall kicks from Super Mario Sunshine, wall kicks from Super Mario Galaxy are totally different. Super Mario 64 is an even more weird system. So yeah, it's really a journey when you pick up a Mario game and try to wall kick. especially if you're trying to go fast. And this game has some weird stuff on it. Just to give you some insight, a task given two walls with an angle of 90 degrees to each other, like a right angle, two walls in there, task could climb it indefinitely because of the way walkings work, which is really weird. A human cannot do that indefinitely. We can do this for a tiny bit though, and that will come into play later. Right, so first things first, it's also part of the ninth level. I kinda lied there. Second, here's the bit where all the craziness happens. Why hello, long jump. It's always so fascinating as a trick. Long jumping out of the water. It's also really useful obviously because the water is slow. I mean, not as slow with the spin. This is probably the game of the Mario franchise which has the least slow water sections because of the spin. Now in this game, the spin mechanic has kind of been neutered, but in Galaxy 1 you can just smash spin. And there's even a trick called like Super Swim, where you just go fast, really fast, at the cost of your entire arm being pudding after you're done, but as you can see, I'm long jumping out of the water multiple instances because obviously that's fast. Okay. This should work. If it doesn't work, my bad. It's a really tight jump to make it at the end there. Okay, it'll work. So we are long jumping out of the water. This cuts the time required to complete the star by a lot. Obviously, all these long jumps, what they do is just propel you out of the water at a very fast pace. Compared to a runner that doesn't know how to do these tricks, they would easily get a 2-minute plus time in the stage. Whereas I got a 1:48, which was kind of okay actually, it was pretty good. But I've done better than that, so... It's really one of those things where you don't see it too much. Like, you see, okay, whoa, it's flashy, but you don't really see the time save until you see a comparison. It's kind of an unsung hero, I guess. I like to call like the strats that do this unsung heroes, because it is kind of an unsung hero of the run, you know. Like, it's a strat that saves a lot of time, but people don't pay attention to it. Mostly it's movement stuff. That just goes, alright, I'm gonna save you time. But it doesn't look very fast, you know? Or very important, generally. It looks fast, but not very important. So people overlook it. Haven't been able to get either time. So as we get towards some more long jumping shenanigans before we get into one of the best levels, if not the best level of the game, I'm gonna talk a tiny bit about something I mentioned before to the chat, etc. Which is a big event that's gonna happen in about 2 weeks' time, which is the 602 race. It's a race that's held biannually, I think. That would be the right way to say it. It's always confusing because it's like every 2 years or twice a year. It's twice a year. And it's a race that pits people against each other running Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Galaxy 1, and Super Mario Galaxy 2, all 100% in one day. 20 hours if you're really good. It's just shy of 1 day if you're kinda good. even people who have no experience whatsoever in the game still try it sometimes. They just go in like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna try it as a challenge. They get times that are 48 hours, but they still pull through. And it's just basically, I like to call it the Le Mans 24 hours of speedrunning, because the time's about there, and the games involved are about there. So it's a really cool event. I'm not sure about my participation this year due to kind of a lack of motivation that I've got, but I have to say practicing for this run lately has been putting me more and more into the mood to do it, so I might be able to do it. But it's a really insane event. It has kind of a high attrition rate, which is to be expected because it's not for everybody to run for 20 hours straight. Obviously, you get into the night as well. You have minimal breaks, so it is as much an event of skill as it's an event of physicality in a way. Which is a cool aspect you don't always see in runs. Also, I've been kind of flying over it. Pretty horrible pun, which was not intended, but intended. The fact that I'm jumping on surfaces that I shouldn't be jumping on, that's because you have a 2-frame window to jump, which makes 2-frame window over 60 FPS. That is a pretty tight frame window you have to make 4 times in a row, but we did it with some trouble.
Do we have a second to plug some donation incentives?
Yeah, sure. Go for
Type
it.
Bang incentives in chat to see the incentives. The next upcoming incentive is choose a birthday and name Violet for Fire Emblem, followed by choose the music for Katamari Damacy for Katamari Forever, and after that, for Super Metroid vs. Link to the Past 2 Siege 1 controller race, you can choose the sprite that second sprite that Xandra will play as, and you can also choose whether or not we find out what surprise awaits us behind the animals door. It can be a second escape, it can be some bosses, or it can be the animals themselves.
Alright. After this level, I'm gonna get myself something to drink because I need my sugars. Although I'm not sure if my brain will appreciate more sugars, but hey. It always does generally. So you can say in a way I'm used to these staying up, playing games, etc. I guess it's something that's in a way familiar to everybody. The idea of staying up and playing games for the night. How many times have you stood up and played for the night, Freddie? Like, just said, well, I'm gonna play the entire night this game, and nobody's gonna stop me. How many times did that happen? If Freddie's still there.
Yes. Wait, did you say that time for more incentive, for more flips?
No, I just literally asked you, like, how many times in your life you stood up, like, just through the night, just, alright, I'm gonna stay up for the night, I'm just gonna play this game. How many times has that happened?
Never. We've never actually done that.
That's surprising.
We hold our sleep very close to us and protect it.
Oh, I see. No, sleeping is something that I tend to sacrifice quite often. I used to joke and I'll die at 27 because of it, which... I guess I lived more because it's a lot less. But no, memes aside, it is, I guess, an experience that's familiar to some. Just staying up the entire night playing games. And yeah, let me tell you that speed running through it, and having to keep a high level of concentration while doing so, it is different. As a person that did some nights throughout playing games, as a person that did 2 speedruns, I think even more, I guess you could say, because one was over the night, even though it was more like 13, 14 hours. It is very taxing. So, if I was just like staying up playing games and having all fun, no way now. I wish it was like that. Alright, so now as you can see we're in the Bowser level. How could you have detected it? Well, I guess the scenery. We're skipping this part by just using a lava boost and some wall kicks, which... Oh, that was that fast? Normally I don't get this cycle. Which is cool. Because getting cool cycles is always cool. Alright. Now, let me see. Oh, that's perfectly on cue. See this green star, we're gonna jump right into it. Nice. Yeah, just 12 hours to speed running is taxing. You multiply that by 2. Yeah, there's people that are crazier and even go farther than that. I do consider myself as a kind of self-destructive person. As like, if there's a challenge, you challenge me to do something, I'm gonna get to my last leg. I'm gonna do it. Even I'm not gonna go over the 6 to 2. I'm not gonna stack in other games. That feels kind of excessive. More from myself. Yeah. You're free to play whatever you want. I'm not gonna do it. Alright. Now enough babbling about long stuff. We're here to be fast. We're here to not take 24 hours to finish this category. We're gonna take 3 hours, 20 minutes. Less probably. If this run is any good. And we're gonna be done with World 2 really soon. See, normally I get that cycle. It's just barely slower. And I'm able to make it at the end of the... Okay, that was very cursed almost. Okay. So this is the end of World 2. And now the training wheels come off. Because there's been a lot of impressive tricks, okay. A few hard levels with some stuff. Now we're gonna go into the more hard part. World 3. And if anybody here in the chat or at home or has had an experience with a very similar thing, it's gonna resonate with you. You ever know something that sounds easy on paper, is really cool, looks simple enough, but then is a hell to get perfect? It might be that math test, it might be just assembling that piece of furniture, whatever. Looks easy on paper. This world is hell. Getting it right 100% is extremely hard. And you know, it's one of those traps where like you feel confident, you go in, I don't need to practice World 3, what do you mean? It just completely wrecks your entire run. And you just left bamboozled as to what? How the hell did that happen? This is not hard on paper. I think every speedrun has this level, which is just like this, just boom. This section where it's easy on paper. You should be able to do it pretty easily. Normally it's not any problem. But then it goes boom and destroys a run if you're not careful. It's just that way. But for now, you'll enjoy some gravity fumbling around, climbing the tree. Obviously, as you can see, we did climb the tree without even getting the Yoshi power-up, because the berries you see around, they're power-ups for Yoshi, they allow Yoshi to float around. But the vertical speed is the name of this game in general, so why would I go get Yoshi when I can climb the tree on my own? Like, I don't need to bother Yoshi, Yoshi just wants to sleep in his own egg. Why would I need to bother him? So I just... Okay, wasn't the best way to jump up. See? Don't need a Yoshi for this. Alright. And now we're gonna get the throwback slide. As we get towards the first third of the run, we have 38 stars now, so it's about a third through. This is gonna be the throwback slide. I call it the throwback slide because the music is gonna be very familiar if you play Super Mario 64. And yeah, it is just a big slide. And there's not much to say. There's very tiny slide optimizations that can be done, but again, it just involves a lot of precision nunchuck movements, boring stuff. The first part is kind of cool of the movement. I'm gonna enter the slide in a very unusual way, but because you know, speedrunners tend to be very quirky people, and I don't know about you, but I always prefer the side entrance. So there we go. You can just clip into the slide there. It's pretty easy. It saves a tiny amount of time. It's kind of dangerous to do, but once you get the hang of it, sure, just goes through. Go for the swag. I gotta go for the swag strats. I mean, what better place in a marathon run to go for the swag strats? I mean, I'm gonna show off what this game can do and what I can do. Hell, we're talking to the perfect run at the very end, alright? There's two ways I can approach that. I can just finish it, like I would normally in a run, or I can just try to go for IL stuff. And I'm kinda gonna let people in the chat decide, honestly, about that, because obviously, going for IL stuff can mean that I might not be able to finish it, because obviously it's A long level, A, and B hard level. And IL stuff is by definition harder even than the classic conventional style that I can go, but I guess then I'm just gonna feel how I am doing, feel how you guys feel about it. So if you want to, towards the end, chime over and say, yo, I want to see you do crazy stuff you can do, just go ballistic with your strats, I'm gonna do it. If people want it, 100%, I'm gonna go full beams. If you just want to see the level done, I mean already, what I mean by going safe, I don't mean I'm gonna be casualing it. There's a lot of speed involved in it, obviously, but you can understand that at the end of it, even if you're just playing this game to 100%, 9-hour run-ish, it is gonna be, you're gonna go in with at least a kind of a measure of safeness. You're not gonna just go easy on it, especially if the PB's on the line.
We are always a fan of going for all the swag.
Alright, so we'll see if the opinion changes, but I have a feeling it won't. And if that's the case, I'll be prepared to show off all the stuff.
That is super awesome that you're volunteering to do that.
Alright, I couldn't get this small skip here, but we'll see. Right here, as you can see, the stage name Cloudy Court contains the Cloud Flower. It is completely and absolutely broken. This is the recurring theme. Every single time you'll see the Cloud Flower, the stage is going to get absolutely broken. Why? Because we are allowed to. Very simply. And fast. So Cloudy Court is one of the most interesting stages, I guess. Just when it comes to pure jumping around, platforming, fast strats. There's a bit of everything here. It's also surprisingly technical stage, as in it's not necessarily just a one-hit wonder with the long jump, the cloud boosted long jump. There's a lot of small technicalities in there. So, okay, yeah. For instance, that one you can save yourself there. The Cloud Flower you can spin like that and save yourself, even if you're in the falling animation, which is kind of weird that they decided to do that. But sure. All right. Now, World Free contains a level in particular that I know causes a lot of problem to people who casual this game, and that's Speed Walk. We'll get to it later. We won't do everything in the level, especially the comet, which is the part that gives people problems. It's not done in this category. But at least you will see the approach. Obviously, as a speedrunner, you know everything, you know where the blocks are gonna appear, you know, you just played this level so much, but it's dead. But as a small hint to anybody trying to complete this game, and spoiler alert, if you have the possibility to complete this game or finish it or buy it, do it. I know that in general, when there's a discourse about, oh, game of the decade 2010s, alright, it just generally comes down to free games, which are The Witcher, Skyrim, and this one. I've played at least a bit of all of these free games. I'm not gonna be the one to decide on that, because in my opinion they're so different, at least Galaxy from the other two, that's very, very hard for me to just lean towards one of them, but it's definitely a game that I think everybody should play if they have the chance. It's probably one of the best platformers ever made, if not the best, but again, this is not for me to decide. Everybody else will have their own opinion. You might say, well, of course you run the game, so that means you like it a lot. It is a very good game, so if you have the chance to play it, just please do. It is an awesome title. It is a kind of shame that it was left out from 3D All Stars, but hey, it's not like it's a super old title, and if you have a Wii or anything else really like a Wii U that can play it. Tiny skip here. You can't be bothered to do all the stuff there. Just go through with it. Also, there's this weird glitch which I'm gonna be trying to exploit. If you jump on the first frame, you're not gonna lose any speed with the rolling ball. So there we go. Pretty nice. If you miss the jump, you're gonna just lose all your speed, which is not cool. Now here you can just roll into the star, something that's not very known. People think you're just gonna fall off, but you can just roll into it. Go for beans if you want, just roll through it.
So this game is bunny hopping on a ball.
Yeah, I guess you're just not weaving around, but premise is there. And again, let me stress, this game is 60 FPS. So when I mean one frame, it's half the frame window of 30 FPS. So it is not something that generally you can rely on, I would say, to get it every single time. One frame at 60 FPS constantly, I think, is, I'm not gonna say not humanly possible, but I will be very impressed if I find a human that can do it consistently. 1/60th of a second every single time. Can happen once, can happen twice. Do it consistently, like for a bit. You're not gonna get it for him. And again, it might be just me being old and my reflexes already starting to wear off at age 23, which could totally be happening. Which is sad for my future speedrunner career. Alright, now Freezy Flake. Freezy Flake is the subject of a very interesting trick that I haven't mentioned before, but there is this aisle-only skip that involves in getting air jumps with a rock bolt power-up. So you have this really weird trick where you can just jump in the air with the power-up. If you time a precise pattern of shakes and jumps, you can just trick the game. You're in a particular animation, just like a Yoshi Flutter, and just jump in the air. But the more jumps you do, less height you will gain, and it is just extremely tricky to execute. I mean, not that it does matter here. I wasn't the fastest there with the Fire Flower, fortunately. I kinda tend to keep an eye on it because in any percent runs, you need to be fast there because you're on a cycle. But here, who cares? Being a bit more flexible there, so that's always a good thing. This star can be tricky to get because if you spin and miss the star and you get the side wall of the lava, you just get sent off into existence because of a quirk with the lava walls, which we're gonna exploit because obviously we are. You can get sent off into the abyss, so you need to be careful there. Now we're gonna get the other green star that I've just ignored. By now you should be used to it, but in case you just signed in, let me just update you on this. Sometimes you might see me just going by stars and not collecting them, like the green star that was there. The reason I do that is because of cutscenes. It allows me to skip some cutscenes in some levels because of how the game registers missions being. It's no, I'm not dumb. I know the stars there, just like getting it now instead of before. As a kind of rule of thumb, I will always complete the star that's the farthest from the start of the level first. So if there's 3 stars on the level, I'm gonna get the farthest one first, then the second farthest, and then the closest. Unless cycles interfere with that and it's more advantageous to do a different order, that's the default order. So sometimes you might see me go by like 2 stars, easily. Then collect them as the round progresses. That's gonna be the case a lot in World 4. You're gonna see maybe a green star, and just so you know what's going on. Alright, so here's the level that I was mentioning with the skip boulder power up. Now, it's not going to be any of those shenanigans here, because A, that's extremely hard to do, and B, there's no time to save there with that. So, even if there was. Alright, so now I'm just collecting these star chips to spawn a launch star. Obviously we already know the patterns. Now I'm gonna just try to jump into the launch star. This jump is always kinda tricky. Yep. Right, and now you're gonna see me just take a leap of faith. You might have seen the star there. It's not as much a leap of faith because I know I'm always gonna get the star. Now, what I use there is called a homing ground pound, and the homing ground pound always homes in the nearest object. stars do count as an object. So if a star is underneath you, you just spin, press Z, and boom, it aims on it. It's cool. Cool movement options used a couple of times during the run. It's kind of slow on the wind-up, but the sheer speed of the ground pound in this game is insane. It's so fast. It's unbelievable. If you've played this game, you know what I'm talking about. If you've ever been on top of a level and it's just ground pounded down, it's so fast. 1 second, boom, you're down. But it's pretty cool. Now here, for instance, it's one of those examples where I'm gonna collect the first green star first, because of cycles. Nice. Now that relies on me hitting the cycles now, which if I hit the boost or something else, it will get messed up. But again, trying to show off everything in that sense. This stage suffers a bit from what I call the linearity syndrome. I believe that the green stars idea would have worked so much better in Galaxy 1. Because I forgot to click the star number 1. Well, here's why. I'm gonna watch the cutscene now, even though I could have skipped it. That's why it works. It's just been a really recent update to the route, and I haven't done a very big amount of runs lately, so I still have to get muscle memory for it. I will say though, this level suffers a bit from the Galaxy 2 syndrome of it being a very linear level, so it's really hard to hide green stars efficiently. And that's why the cycles are gonna be messed up now. No worries. Still gonna work it out. So you see here why this method is very reliable. So if you do the stars from last to first, you just need to mash every single time. Just no worries. Because every potential gain that I had from cycles that is squandered just by not skipping cutscenes. Even if I didn't squander that, I would still like add to watch the cutscene, which is way more time lost to it.
Is this a good time to read another blurb?
Feel free to go.
You're watching Winter. Oh.
Hey, just be my guest. Sorry.
You're watching Winter Pride 2020, with all donations benefiting the Trevor Project. The Trevor Project is an LGBTQ crisis hotline, and the majority of youth choose to contract the Trevor Project rather than other providers because the organization is LGBTQ affirming or a trusted provider of crisis services. 90% of young people who reach out to the Trevor Project experience de-escalation in suicidal thoughts. One supportive person can decrease an LGBTQ youth's risk of suicide by 30%. The Trevor Project aims to always be there for LGBTQ youth in crisis with a clear message. They should be proud of who they are and that they are not alone. Wonderful, wonderful charity. Definitely get your donations in.
Alright, and yeah, and as you are seeing, right now all we're seeing is Long Jump Central. So that would be a good time to read the nations off. Now we're gonna be seeing Big Block around, and I'm not gonna have a lot to talk about in Block, I guess, because it's just precise movement, you know. So I wanted to take a small moment to mention something that kind of regards the charity that's going to go on. Now, I myself am a member of the LGBT community, though I'm not sure if there's a good way to put it down, but I am not a person that's generally affected by a lot of issues related to it, because due to the way I am, being like my orientation, etc. I do not. I've never had any experience with um, any sort of discrimination due to that, or people actually making me feel worse than what I am directly, at least. Now, indirectly, obviously, there's always a lot of insecurity that's associated with that, but directly, I've never experienced stuff like that, and I have to say, oh yeah, I couldn't get the timing right. I have to say, I do not know what it feels to be in that position. I've had trouble sometimes, but I do not know how it feels to be in that position. But at least due to my sexual orientation and gender and stuff. But I do really love the fact that there is somebody doing the work of just informing people and make people understand that everybody is welcome in this world. That is, I think, one of my core values, that I will never renounce the idea that everybody is welcome in this world, no matter how and who they are. And that's something, if you feel like you have no place here, please, please just never think you are on your own. It's something that's very important to say. It doesn't matter how many times it has been said, I think. Never, never think you're on your own. There has been times where I thought I was on my own. Again, not necessarily due to my gender orientation, etc., due to other problems. I know how that feels in a different way, I guess, but never believe you're on your own. You are great, and you're wonderful, and we're all grateful to have you here, even though some people might be mean about it. Alright, that said, we're going back into flutters, we're going back into run shenanigans. This level is going to be completely destroyed by the sheer force of willpower and the hard 10 years that speedrunners have put into destroying this level. Which means we're going to basically touch 2 platforms in the entire level, 3 platforms in the entire level, sorry. First one is the starting section, which I wish I could avoid touching, but we cannot, so that counts as one. Alright. Then we have barely enough distance to get here with a flutter. Alright. This is the second platform we're touching. The third one is going to be in the other level. There we go. Pretty nice. Now for the second one, you will see, the second one is in kind of a weird place, because this second star is hidden behind an enemy, and it's really troublesome to get it with the flutter, because normally some top runners prefer to do a different strategy than what I do. I do the strategy because I feel it's really safe. So I just bring on a bullet bill with myself, and just send the bullet bill as the vanguard. It will kill the enemy and reveal the star, which we then can get. It's slightly slower than the more optimal strat, but I have been told by other runners that this strat saved a lot of pain from them, so I guess I'll take that W in a way. And it's always cool when somebody just appreciates the work you put in. I don't know, if you even if you're not a speedrunner, you probably have had a moment in somebody else said, yo, do a good job on finding this or doing the work, or even something that's very simple as in like, thank you for improving something that's going on. That's always a nice feeling for me, and that's why I like to do routing for the game, I like to strat hunt for the game. There's always a lot to be found, even if it's not immediately obvious. And it's a really cool thing to do. So, thank you to everybody, not just in this game, but every runner, and just puts in the work and it's like, alright, what can we do to this? Now this level is kind of weird aesthetics, not gonna lie. I'm not really a fan of this aesthetic, but boosted long jumps for the win. Now this level's green stars are all pretty short, and they all play out in the first 2 planets. The third one in particular has a strategy that is really weird and complex because it involves a camera manip. Now this is the first time I talked about the camera in this game specifically, but in the Galaxy games, objects only move on camera, which means if you look away from something, it's not gonna move, it's gonna stay where it is. This is why we're talking about cycles. The cycle is not a permanent background block in the game, but the cycles depend on the way you move your camera. So in about a minute, you will see me perform a camera manipulation at the start to... Oh yeah, I forgot that was... to move the coin that you see rolling in the background there, because there's a green star up there, you probably saw it for a tiny brief moment. You want to manipulate the coin for it to be at the right moment, at the right time, so you can just jump on it. Face. Now here, this is barely enough to make it. Oh, it still did. Normally they're supposed to just go all the way over, just fall off. Nah, too slow, mate. We're gonna do this the hard way. Okay, now for the camera manip. The timing of the camera manip is really hard, especially because it's a strat that was experimenting right before stopping with this category and moving on to other games. And now, in the practice, I have a bit of trouble to get it right, so I hope I will be able to get it right. But if I get it right, you will see a ledge grab and being very fast, instead of having to wall kick, set up, etc, etc. Nice, that was very good. No ledge grab, but that was very good. Alright, now we're gonna have a crazy level because this level involves gravity swaps. And if you've seen right side down from earlier on, gravity, we put it to work. But it's not we have to work with the gravity, gravity has to work with us. We're the bosses in this game, we're gonna put in the work, we're just gonna go through with it and skip a lot of stuff. Now by skip a lot of stuff, you'll see what I mean right now. Like right now. First, I mean going around here, but I don't think this is a surprise to anybody. It's kind of obvious. Setting up. I'm weaving around death barriers at all times, just keep it in mind. It's a kind of a danger that's in there, good cycle made there. Played through. And we just invalidated the entire gimmick for the level. Whatever. That cycle is kind of hard to make but yeah, I'm just gonna say I'm used to it by now. It's not the worst thing ever if you know where to position yourself, etc. Just as I said, camera positioning is key because stuff moves on camera. So if you know how to move around without having the camera pop back down, and just you're gonna be fine. But just keep in mind, it's one of those things where if you try to do it yourself, even if you get the movement 100% right, and then decide the places where the camera needs to be are not there, you're gonna be like, what the hell? What did I do wrong? That's what it is, the camera. Positioning was not good. Oh, that was almost bad. Okay, now we're gonna just ignore stuff. Alright. So this level is really wacky, as I said. It's just, we're exploiting the gravity at every single turn. Pun not intended, I just realized. Sorry, my brain is just a bit fried. And yeah, we're just gonna use it to our advantage at every single turn of the, well, level, I guess. Now, you're gonna see some of those wall kick shenanigans that I was mentioning. Now, it is very, very weird and quirky as a strategy, but we're gonna walk in 2 walls at 90 degrees and then come up again. And that's not the easiest thing to do. I hope I'm gonna be able to pull it off this time. There we go. Please go down, Luigi. Thank you very much. Alright. Again, some more real, like, quirky stuff with the game engine. Even though I was heading directly forward, the way I was holding the stick meant that if I press A immediately, Luigi will jump in that direction. It will come into play almost immediately again when we had to ante up with the strat that's known as B-less, even though you can technically get the B anyways. It's weird, but you just skip the B in the very first part of the level, the B power up. Because if you haven't realized, this is kind of a theme by now in this game. Power-ups are not power-ups, they're power-downs, okay? Cloud Flower is a power-up. Fire Flower, I guess, is a power-up, but it deprives you of the spin, so it's kind of a trade-off. Ice Flower is awesome. Which, is Ice Flower in this game? I don't think it is. But everything else is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a scam, honestly. Soul to you as a power up, but it's not really a power up. Also, that was a nice star grab, just falling into it. They say it's a power up, but the worst culprit of this is the spring, quote unquote power up, which don't even get me started on it. Because the fun part is the spring power up allows you to jump really high, but you know what else allows you to jump really high without restricting your movement options? Just being Luigi. Tell you a little secret there. As you can see, this time I remembered to click the right green star. Yeah, I could skip the cutscene, and I can still get green star number 2. See, the angle is slightly different for this. Okay, that was good. Now, I'm gonna leave Yoshi and murder him just for the sake of getting rid of the star bits. I'm sorry, Yoshi, nothing personal. But, kinda needed those. Ice Flower is the best, 100% agreed. Cloud Flower is technically the best power-up in the game for speedrunning, but the Ice Flower handles amazing. I don't think I've ever had as much fun moving around in the game as with the Ice Flower. Just the ice skating is great. It's really fantastic. I don't think they brought it back for this game, but what did they bring back? Spring power-up. Sure, Nintendo. Okay, so hardest galaxy in the game. in my humble opinion. Besides the perfect run, obviously. But I think that was given. Now I'm gonna try B-less, which is really hard. Oh, come on! Spin bonks. Unfortunate. There you go. Again, it's another use of the 45-degree wall kick technique there. As you can see, you're technically supposed to have the beat power up here, but who decided that? Now, you can technically avoid this, but it's really, really hard, so not always pushing for it. It's kind of a risk. Now, again, here you're all supposed to have the B power up, but again, who decided that? I'm not gonna follow that, sorry, that's slow. The B power up is really, really slow, so let's go through it. Now, all this area is supposed to be challenging because if you touch water with the B power up, you lose the power up, but sorry. And now we have a final wall kick here, which is really, really hard because you're not supposed to be able to do this, but yep. We wall kick on the Queen Bee, which is really hilarious if you think about it. And it's also not the easiest because you need her to be on a good angle and she always bobs around a little bit, so it can be kind of tricky to time it well, but again, some of those things that with experience you're able to do pretty flawlessly most of the time. There is one thing... Sorry?
We were gonna say, did you just wall kick directly off of her face?
No, I bonked. I kind of like bounced off of her face at the very end of it, which can happen. I walked on her belly, but I bounced on her face, which can happen because she moves around, as I said, so she kind of bobbed it onto me and I got bobbed back. But hey, it helped me get the star, so I'm not gonna complain about it.
That's still really cool.
It is a very complex strat that was only done in ILs before I arrived and decided, who decided that? It should only be done in ILs. Oh, come on. This strategy, you can imagine, is one of those that's like, yeah, the run is kind of dead here. It's very complicated. The entire level is. And just to top it off, now we're just gonna dive into the star. Like blindly. Not blindly, but just gonna dive into the star. Okay. There we go. So I'm not gonna wait for that thing to go down. That's slow. Unfortunately, the whole B-less process took a while, but that's... As I said, that's to be expected. It's one of those strats where it can kill a run. Even if I was 100% into the game, grinding completely to get a PB. Right now I'm also focusing on other stuff, but if I was 100% even then, it's a strategy that it's not guaranteed first try at all. And it's very, very hard. But it's one of those things where, again, there's bound to be a strat like that where it's like, you have to go for it because it saves a lot of time. If you do it twice to the first try, you save about 12 seconds over the normal strategy. So it's a significant amount of time at a high level. And I trust that at a high level. So, you know, if I'm going for it, I need to make the trade-off. I need to go for it. Now, Super Mario Sunshine in Galaxy 2, I guess. Even the name Starshine Beach. Come on, Nintendo could be more obvious, but now we're gonna jump this chasm because again, there's a bit of collision there that's kind of weird, and we exploit that. Now you can see the green star there in the air, floating around. And when something is floating in the air and there's a Yoshi, you know it's gonna go by now. I'm not exactly flipping the script on its head, am I? So this level in general, this world in general, World 4, is where stuff gets stuff in the run. It's the, I mentioned World 3 is the one that can catch you by surprise. World 4 is just, you're gonna have to nail strat after strat after strat after strat. You're gonna have to make it perfect, else you're gonna start losing time. That's tough. It's probably one of the hardest parts of the run to get every World 6. World 5 is a bit more calm at times, I guess. But yeah, it's one of those segments where you know when stuff gets real. It's like, alright, my run got through this. If I get through World 4, there's a very good chance I can get a PB. There's a very good chance I can fight for a PB at least. Nice. That was really good. Getting the right angle there is not always easy, but that was really cool. Now I've gotta bring you to all your attention that there is this thing that's making me kind of real sad about this. That is that there's a cup of shrimp noodles sitting next to my desk, and I'm like, I normally like those things, but I try to have these to just calm my hunger a bit because again, last time I ate something was like 4 days, 6 p.m. the day before, so. But I can't bring myself to eat more than I have because having shrimp noodles for breakfast isn't a good idea. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, I normally don't like wasting food, but Jesus Christ, that was so dumb. Making a decision. Don't do this at home, guys. Please don't. Don't make my same mistake. Not my finest hour in that sense, especially coming from a person that I can normally cook pretty decently. So now, as you can see, I turned the camera a tiny bit there. That was to prevent the cloud from moving too much. I'm gonna jump on the cloud, pick this cloud flower instead of going around all the way to the level to get this. And I'm gonna jump on this very edge. Now, if I touch the water, I lose the cloud flower, so that's why we need to be on this edge. And the reason why we get the cloud flower is that green star is on top of that platform can be moved. You see that bobber thingy here? It's called the bobber because there's not a lot of other things that it reminds me of. There you go. I will use this to get there. It's not the easiest strat. Also, that was a gold. Pretty cool.
Massive GG on the gold.
Yeah, it was carried by that Starship Leech one. That was pretty good. At any rate, this strat is considered pretty hard by some runners because it's not the easiest to time the jumps. When the cloud is formed, it kind of does this weird bobbing movement. It's like it pops up and then it just bobs around a bit. You have to time your jump when it starts bobbing up. That way, you're gonna get the extra momentum boost, and every jump you make is gonna be a tiny bit higher than normal, and the tiny bit of height is what it gives you the chance to get a star. Else you wouldn't make it. And it's really, really cool, but also not the easiest. I would even go as far as to call it kind of obscure, I guess. Alright. Weird sideways long jump. This Chompworks Galaxy, as you can imagine, the main theme is this chain chomps being produced. It's, I guess it's a kind of like Bowser's factory for these things. I mean, didn't know they were mass-produced, but whatever floats your boat in that sense. And we're gonna collect 3 stars as well here. The last one is kind of interesting in its own positioning, because normally it would require you to get a spring power-up, but as I mentioned, it's not a power-up. And we, and by we I mean all runners, say, nope, 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 we're not gonna do that. Sorry, that's too lame. And we're just gonna ignore it. Not the star, spring power, also we can't really do the star. Before any of you starts getting weird ideas, we can't skip stars now. Nope. In Super Mario Galaxy and sequence breaks are not permitted. Sorry. Sequence break police is strong in Super Mario Galaxy. Okay. And after this, we're gonna go into the skip that probably has the biggest wow factor of the entire game. It's a very flashy skip that, if you know what you're doing, is easier than it looks, which I might be underselling myself a bit there, but it's not really that hard. Then again, I did practice it when I had to learn in about 12 hours, so maybe it is hard, but it's just, I guess, cool to see. So I won't spoil anything. Actually, I will spoil one thing. It involves lava. But besides that, I'm not gonna spoil anything. You're just gonna see it for what it is. We're gonna get this green star now, which is kind of here. You can't see it now, but we are in the second mission, and you kind of have to climb to the top of the mission, but we're not gonna do that. The green star is on top of one of the side towers. As I said, you normally would have to get the spring power up. You can climb the tower without a spring power up. It's not super easy, but you can do it. The fact that at some point they even wait for a cycle allows you to see how slow the spring power up is. It's so slow. Right. See it's here, shining away. And the game even tells you, dude, grab this thing. And I'm like, nope, sorry. That sucks. That really, really sucks. I'm gonna wait for my cycle here. This thing is slow, dude. And I'm gonna use the momentum from here to get the star. That's so low. Alright. Alright, so now we are going into Garbage Gauntlet. This is Bowser's second. This is Bowser's second level normally. Again, we don't see much of Bowser here, but keep in mind, we did beat the game already. This is just post-game content technically. And Bowser's gone. Bowser's gone, we won. We did it. Bowser is no more. Until the next game at least. So yeah, just gonna enjoy and vibe around without Bowser being like, wahaha, I have my new plans. And I'll win. Even though I lose all the time, but I'll win. Alright, so I'll just let the gameplay speak. There we go. It uses everything that's known about lava in this game. Momentum swing, vertical lava wall interactions, normal lava bounce, momentum inversion, everything. Everything sounds very complicated. I can tell you the directions you need to hold on your stick, and after 3 or 4 hours trying it, you'll probably be able to get it. But I still, to date, I've asked this question so many times and I never got an answer. I still don't know who discovered that, because I want to know what kind of drugs they were to think about it. It's... Sorry, what? Who got that idea? I have no idea who thought about it, but whoever they are, they're genius. Like, what the hell, dude? Oh no, I'm gonna die here. And... that was kinda lame. Also, no, it sounds weird, but that bounce on the fireball is the easiest, fastest way to get through. Please get the star, Mario. No, I play too much 90%. It's Luigi I'm talking about here. Sorry, Luigi. Alright, now World 5. World 5 is... First things first, it starts with Space Storm, which for Stars 2 and 3 as the best game is best theme in my opinion of the entire Galaxy medium including 1 and 2, which is the buoy-based theme for Galaxy 1, or in this case Space Storm 2 theme for Galaxy 2. I don't know, it's just one of those things where a lot of people will point out to other songs, Melty Monster, Melty Molten, Gusty Garden, as great themes in Galaxy, but there's just been this thing that's always struck with me about the buoy-based theme. It's not what you hear now. First things first, you'll hear it in the next star. Oh, come on, that was really lame. Missing this star is always annoying, because it's like one of those things that you don't know what you're doing wrong. Because the camera is aligned in such a way that you don't know, you see what I mean? Like, it's just... Yeah. Every single time I do a run at some marathon, I have to have one level where stuff just doesn't work. Okay, fine. I'm sorry for the small derp here, but I fell victim to the fallacy that befalls every single speedrunner at some point. This level is easy. I don't need to practice it. It always happens. Whatever, it's like, what, 20 seconds, 25 seconds, it's not the worst thing ever. At least on the marathon run. I would be mad if this happened in a run. At least in the PB run, but it's fine. Can happen. The star felt very relatable. It does feel very relatable. At the end of the day, a speedrunner, as much as they put practice into stuff, as much as they grind their buttocks off, we're still humans. And at some point we're bound to mess up. Just like everybody else. That side flip looked very swag. The reverse side flip. That was very cool. I need to keep it in mind for my freestyle, free running compilation for Galaxy. I have one in program for people that think, oh, Galaxy Movement, his name is just long jumping. You wish. I wish it was just long jumping. Actually, no, because it would be very bold. Alright, so... enjoyed the background theme because, again, buoy base is the theme that always resonated with me that is the only theme I can reliably and consistently notice whenever it's in the background. You know, when you run a game for so long, after a while, the music becomes kind of a given, right? It just isn't there, but you don't listen to it. It's just there. The one exception for me in Galaxy is the blue base. I always notice it. I'm always looking forward to it. I'm always looking forward to it. That doesn't matter the run or whatever. I'm always looking forward to it. And I always notice it. It's just this feeling of epicness that just soars there. It's just, oh, it's so good. Now, we will be getting again into skip territory now after a level that's very, I don't know, kinda normal, I guess. Now, this level at some point is a gravity inversion, and if you've seen this run for a long time, you know the gravity inversion and skips kinda go together. This skip is not super hard, but I would say it's pretty hard. And we have to make it twice in this particular run, compared to only just once for any percent. So, we'll just get on with it. And the third green star cannot get if we do the skip. So, if I do the skip, start the skip movement, and then realize midway through, oh, this was green star number 1, I shouldn't do this. Well, then I'm done with it. I can't go back. I think so. I need to remember that. I've had runs where I was chilling out because it was just a marathon run or it was a race, I think. No, it sounds weird to chill out in a race. Here's the skip. I just use a gravity inversion here. What's gonna happen just to stand here, and then long jump, spin, and then into the launch star. Before everything even got into position, normal way, like the normal streamlined way. All right. So I was chilling out, and I did the skip 3 times. I'm doing it every 3 times, but then I realized, wait a second, the green star was back there, so I had to exit and re-enter. It was just, it felt very silly. Yeah, it's kind of another chapter of speedrunners are humans too. Sometimes we do not them too. And most of the time they're hilarious, let's be honest. It's one of those things that don't take yourself too seriously. If you do that, you're prone to just be like, alright, now I'm just gonna be angry with myself because I wasn't able to live up to the standards I set myself to. I need to be more serious. As I said at the beginning of the run, I just need to have fun. Alright, now we're gonna do this again. If you didn't understand why doing the skip blocks me from doing the third green star, you'll see in a minute. It's just that if you enter the launch star, you need to go behind the launch star. It's kind of weird. You'll see. It will make sense once I get there with the normal route. Now I'm gonna have to do the skip again. So we get to see. That was really dumb. A friend of mine actually joked, long jumping there sooner or later will kill you. And guess what? They were right. Although it's technically not the long jumping that killed me, but yeah.
It's now a good time for a blurb.
Yeah, feel free to go in.
Hello to everybody joining us from Front Page. This is Winter Pride 2020, and we are raising money for the Trevor Project. The Trevor Project is the world's largest suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for LGBTQ young people. The organization works to save lives by providing support through free and confidential suicide prevention and crisis intervention programs and platforms where young people spend their time. Their 24/7 phone lifeline, chat, text, and soon-to-come integrations with social media platforms. They also run Trevor Space, the world's largest safe space social networking site for LGBTQ youth and operate innovative education, research, and advocacy programs. This marathon will be running 24/7 until the end of the weekend, so definitely stick around and get your donations in for the Trevor Project. They are an amazing, amazing cause.
And they are indeed. Please do vote. The Terra Marathon has amazing incentives as well, so you'll be hard pressed to find something not to donate for. Honestly, if you check the incentives page, the links should be in the chat. I believe that the moderation team and everybody there in the staff is providing that. They're all doing an amazing job, so please do donate. It's a cause that's probably close to a lot of people if you're following this marathon, so it's gonna be really good to see some money donated to such an awesome charity. Alright, now you're gonna see what I mean by if I do the skip, I cannot really get the star. So, I'm just gonna do everything as I normally do, but I need to be careful and mind not to do the skip, so you'll see actually the casual way to do this normally. And fun fact, before the skip was discovered, this level wasn't even 90% due to the skip. I mean, I'm skipping that, but I just need to wait here instead of going back now and do this. Because I need the snake platform for the next section here. So you'll see what I mean here. Now here, you would be forced into the launch star. You won't be able to go here because you have no platform. So you just need to go the normal way here. Now my cat really wants to make a choice. So if you hear some weird... Really? Again, the camera kind of threw me off there. I have to say, one of the hardest things about switching Mario games has to be the camera. Like, I've been playing Super Mario Sunshine, speedrunning it for a while now, but the hardest thing is just how differently the cameras behave in all the games. It's one of those things that's like, not even the movement, the camera. The camera is just really throwing you off. And obviously the camera has a big influence on the movement, but I'm still surprised myself by like how much influence it has. Now, it's amazing how much you can cheat this particular section if you know what you're doing. Okay. This thing's gonna happen, eh? It's kind of a shame, but again, sometimes it's precise jumps. You're all over instant death goop there. It's bound to happen sometimes. It happened to me in a PB run. I still PB'd there, but I felt it. It's like, and again, it's a really hard level, so I don't blame myself too much for that. Alright. Now, again, lots of gravity inversion. This time there's no way to escape it because it's not decided by the player when the gravity inverts. It's decided by the game. So, you're just gonna see a lot of using this inversion. Unfortunately, that floatiness that happens there cannot really be removed without spinning, and spinning can have some pretty weird effects if you keep on switching gravities, and like it can be really unpredictable. So I normally refrain from spinning there because the floatiness can be adjusted by your position. It's kind of weird. I got kind of unlucky there by having that much floatiness. Normally you can land much faster, so that was the only thing I would change about the level. Besides that, neat. was very good. Very close to gold as well, so pretty cool. Alright, now we'll be heading towards some of the most technical levels in the game, for the wrong reasons this time. This is gonna be Slip Sand. And the main theme of the game is slipping sand, which kind of makes sense. Which is gonna push you forward or backwards depending on the section of the stage, and that makes, weirdly enough, long jumping a big problem, because you need a certain amount of speed and momentum to long jump, and the speed and momentum provided by the sand can throw you off a lot. So the hardest part is actually being able to keep chaining the long jumps together here, because that gives you the maximum amount of speed, obviously. Obviously, all the while you need to avoid this spinning fireballs of you. See that single jump that happened wasn't. I didn't intend to do a single jump. It was a failed long jump there. But overall, pretty good. And now the sand will run counter to us, so I'll try to just use emphasis to try iron blocks to just move around and help myself a bit. As you can see, normal surfaces here are kind of at the premium, so whenever they're available, we're gonna double close. The timing wasn't off there. It's just that on the very edge you cannot long jump. Like the game tries to push you off in a way, so if you're not holding up, you're gonna fall off. And it's really hard to long jump there. Now, there's another green star here. And the final green star is at the end of this section. With the rolling, I don't even remember the name of them. They're like, there's swamps, romps, bombs. Womps with a T. It's a lot of womps to remember. And I don't remember which ones these are. But they do be a thing. It'll be kind of annoying. Okay, got the star. This star is really tough to get sometimes, especially if you're on high nerves, because one mistake there and your run is dead. This level, in particular if you do fast strats, you don't get the check. So if you fall and die, that's 1 minute 40, gone. That's the run dead. And normally it's not a hard level, but I can assure you with nerves, it's very easy to just stick to Sheik a tiny bit and you fall off and miss a star. That's dead. I've had a PB run die to that, and that felt on the moment horrible. Then yeah, sure, they will come. Others will come. Yep, there. You see, if your rhythm gets thrown off, it's really hard to get good here. Oh yeah, that can happen too. Props, okay. To obscure the lore. I mean, probably if we paid attention to Bowser's talking every now and then, we would know that, but Bowser talks too much. The stars, once you know the technique to get it, it's pretty easy. I know it causes some problems sometimes. It's really just technically it's not the fastest way to get it this way, but it's just the easiest to go full left and then kind of let it do a kind of parabola thing, trajectory down there. It's the safest way that they came up with. At least to get it, and I don't even know if I came up with or some other runner came up with. It's just a very common safe strat there. speedrun? Yes, I am. In fact, are trying to speedrun for Power and Pride Marathon.
Do you have time for a blurb?
Yep, feel free to go.
You are watching Winter Pride 2020 here on Twitch. We are running from December 11th through the 13th for 24 hours each day. We are benefiting the Trevor Project. To find out more about them, you can find the link to their site in the panels below the stream, or use Bang Charity. If you're interested in donating, you can type Bang Donate in chat. Find the schedule by using Bang Schedule, or the incentives with Bang Incentives. And for upcoming incentives, you can choose a birthday and name Violet in Final Fantasy in Fire Emblem 3 Houses. And after that, you can choose the music in Katamari Forever. And after that, you can determine whether or not we get to see what surprise is hidden behind the Save the Animals door in Super Metroid. All of those coming up, and so definitely stay tuned.
I was getting worried there for a second that they actually had planned a Final Fantasy and Fire Emblem crossover episode. That would be awesome. Alright, so we're getting again into Fleet Glide. It's another Fluzzard level, so we're going to be flying around this cute little bird. Now, the very important thing is that this level contains the hardest stars in the game. And you will see what I mean after this star. Another thing that I can tell you is that sometimes runners miss the tutorial thing because you have to pick opposite inputs depending on which mission you're in. So here you need to say yes, so like let's glide. Whereas in the other Fluzzard mission you say no thanks to skip the tutorial. So that can be a bit confusing for runners, especially new runners sometimes. Seeing the tutorial as a result can happen, and it's kind of hilarious. Fire Fantasy or Final Emblem? I don't know, I'm kind of more in the Final Emblem. And Fire Fantasy sounds like... eh. Final Emblem is like... I don't know, I would buy Final Emblem 14, the Sword of Three Houses. That sounds cool. Okay, so now you'll see the hardest star in the game. It's really absolutely horrifically hard to get. Now, just brace for it. It's gonna go real quick. Let's glide. This is the hardest star to get in the game. Trust me. And boom, there it goes. I don't know what they were thinking when they placed the star, but sure. Literally all you need to do is hold down. Contrary to popular belief, and I say this because some runner tried it, you cannot just let the Wiimote hang off, because you're gonna miss the star. It happened to people, and it is kind of hilarious when it happens, but...
How many times has that happened to people?
To my knowledge, intentionally or unintentionally?
Unintentionally.
Unintentionally, I think 3 times on screen are recorded. It becomes 5 if you count intentional times or semi-intentional times. And by semi-intentional, I mean like they were just being, I don't know, just memeing around and they actually missed it, but we don't know if it's actually on purpose or they actually missed it.
We love that this is the sort of thing that that the Mario Galaxy 2 community keeps track of.
Yeah, it's the meme thing. There's probably something like this for every speed. A thing that you kind of become bit of a joke. Oh god, really? That's kind of annoying. Now, I need to kill this by jumping on it, because if I don't, I'm gonna die. And now I don't trust this, so I'm gonna... I guess dying is an option. Cool. I was trying to get a momentum boost long jump again, but that didn't go very well. There we go. That's much better. Now I'm keeping my clouds here, like as much as possible, because you'll see the reason here. I'm gonna actually let this one up because I'm not running too great on lives. Okay, I want to keep this low cloud because the green star is actually there. You see it in the middle there. So I need not to spin now. I need to keep my cloud in order to be able to do this. Because if I do spin and lose the cloud, then the only option, if you get the checkpoint, is to quit the level. And that is not funny. Now, I'm gonna have to go down that way another... Oh, I didn't even mention the fact that we skipped the entire planet with the cloud flower, but by now you guys should be used to it. It's like a quarter of a level gets cut out because of the cloud flower. It's just business as usual. Just, you know how it goes now. It is how it is. All these beautiful planet, all these assets that the developers have worked on, all for naught. I'm sorry. Not sorry. Fast. No, I don't technically need the clouds here, but sure. Okay. It's nice to be the cloud kind of bugs out because you're in it. In the star catch screen. You cannot do a lot of things with the star catch screens, but you can create some pretty funny stuff. I don't think I have anything that comes to mind immediately, but there's people that have fun with the star catch screen and they create all sorts of dumb things. They're kind of hilarious. I normally tend to, like, be a bit silly around Hungry Lumas, which we won't see a lot in this run, but are a part of the game. Generally, they require you to feed them either star bits or coins. Now, I don't know about star bits because, hey, sure, I don't know how they taste, but I cannot say anything. I would highly suggest you to not ingest any coins, however, because I don't think they're going for your health. So... I don't really understand the message behind it, but they can eat coins, and they create planets from it. Which, sure. At any rate, things can get pretty comical, because whenever the Hungry Luma feeding thing is completed, the game freezes, so you can have Luigi freeze in all sorts of positions if you know how to manipulate him, or just move him around and stuff. It can get pretty hilarious. From freezing him in the middle of the air just during the backflip, or if you know how to do a trick called the Mega Side Flip, you can just have Luigi just soar in the sky. It's very inconsistent and can only be done in some certain points due to something that is, again, extremely technical. I'm not going to go about it and into it because, to be honest, it required me. I mean, not it required me because I did it for other purposes, but I fully understood that after Calculus 2 and Flight Dynamics in University. Which I understand maybe much. There's a lot of math behind it. And I'm not going to be trying that because it's really, really, really hard to get it properly. most of the time it's considered a Nile only strat. Also, I've been taken for granted, but to people that are not speedrunners necessarily, IL means individual levels. It's a speedrun of a level that is not in the big run. So it's gonna need to focus for this particular cannon shot. I think I missed it. Might be too high. Yeah, I definitely too high. No, I wasn't good. So this kind of shot is absolutely atrocious. Casually, it destroys people, and even speedrunners sometimes. An IL, or individual level, is just a speedrun of a single level, which allows players to go for much harder strategies because you're not risking an entire 3-hour run doing it, but you're just doing the level over and over. If you fail it, you can just reset and retry the level. So you can go for strategies that are much less consistent, but faster. And mega side flips generally fall into that category due to how hard they are to pull off. There are some that are known to have a semi-consistent setup in Galaxy 1, I think, because of the fixed camera angle, and already by the fact that the jump glitching out depends on the camera angle, you know this stuff is wacky there. Right, so we used to joke about this green star that the hitbox is about as big as the state of Kansas, and I do agree. It is definitely not subtle there. Alright. It almost makes us think that they on purpose shrunk the hitbox of the other green star to make it worse. Now, World 6. This level is called in my splits Melty Monkaes from the famous emote, because there is a star that requires a particular movement which under nerves is so bad. It is so hard to do, and it's actually the intended movement that speedrunners went back to, because we had a safe strat that was until 2018, until again we decided, that's slow. Let's do the intended stuff because it's actually faster. But green star number 3 requires you to do some inputs that are pretty precise. We've tried to find a setup, but the best thing I found out that was working for me was just going for it, honestly. So it's gonna be a really interesting strat to showcase. You don't want HP on this stage, it's really scary. Those are the old lava boosts. Kinda required to sacrifice HP. Like, I have to get her to go fast. Oh, those stages certainly. Galaxy 1 had some stages that were infuriating, honestly. I know from casual players and streamers that as a speedrunner, sometimes interact with players, streamers that are streaming the game casually, and I know that some levels are really infuriating for casual players. It's just the nature of the level. Like, if you know what to do, the bomb games are 100% like super easy. Like, you can finish them every single time, unless you make a movement mistake. It's 100% easy. Like, you do it easily. Actually, what I would like to do, now that I'm not super focusing on it, obviously, but what you would like to do is to not collect all the star bits. In fact, I'm shooting him away most of the time. Now this is revenge for Base Star. So, normally in any percent or all other categories except this one, you would use them to unlock galaxies. But since in this game we've already completed 120 stars, we already have all the galaxies unlocked. And the only purpose that's actually a negative purpose of these star bits, 42 that they had, now 41, is to pop out the text box at the end of the stage saying you collected X star bits. Now, a text box means another A pressed, and it means about, if assuming that the frames are about the same as Galaxy 1, 50 something, 50-ish frames, like 45 frames, if for one star bit. 45 frames is about 3/4 of a second, and I would like not to waste those 3/4 of a second on average, so I try to shoot them away as much as possible. But sometimes I'm gonna forget, especially on the marathon run, when I'm trying to explain the levels, etc. Sometimes I can. I'm in my frame. I'm in my train of thought, and I forgot to shoot them off like this. But normally, in this game, you always shoot them off because of the bank toad. So you can get star bits from other save files, and we always have a save file that's like loaded with star bits, so we just get what we need to be done with it. In Galaxy 1 you actually have to collect them and pay attention to them. Now here's the hard part. I hope I nail it. You see the green star there? Those two rapid flicks that maybe you've heard me do in the mic, maybe not, but maybe you've heard me do, need to be timed very precisely, and it's kind of a hard strat. Yes, it is a lovely morning here. I can almost see the sunrise. Almost. Now we're going to Flash Black. Another stage which is very, I don't know, not necessarily hard, but it is an interesting stage. There's a lot of mechanics here. The main gimmick of the stage is that light flashes on every few seconds, allowing you to see. Again, I've played this level ad nauseum. I know the level is, even with the lights turned off. So, plus all the objects and the scenery still is present, like enemies, coins, etc. It kind of gives you an idea where you are anyways, so. Alright. We just use this to climb. For AlaeusSR, I use the strategy where I just climb with Luigi. Pass also does that. But it's something that I'm not confident yet to put into runs. Yet. Emphasis on the yet. We'll be getting there. Oh, please do play these games properly, especially Galaxy 2. Galaxy 1 is good. Galaxy 2 is great. And I'll tell you this as a person whose first speed game was Galaxy 1. Now, fun fact about this Yoshi flutter. We call this the Forbidden Flutter, which is a fun nickname for a flutter that's not really that hard. It's just that the premise is you need to hold a very specific angle again that's very, very tiny. And new players struggle a lot with that because it's a really small window. But it's not that hard. Oh, especially now, especially with Galaxy 1, it's available on Switch, obviously, with 3D All-Stars, so. As much as people, like, all the noise surrounding remakes in general, etc., because people have expectations that are rarely met by remakes and all that stuff. A remake always allows a lot of new people to experience the game that normally they wouldn't experience. So that's always a good thing, as long as the game is not made worse by the remake, which I think Galaxy isn't, honestly. So I think Galaxy 1 the remake is really captured in the remake. It's not a weird feel, it's not a different feel, it's Galaxy 1, just on a different console. Well, Yoshi, thank you very much for not fluttering out of there. Okay. Bit unconventional, but I do share that message. Take care of your wrists as a Super Mario Galaxy speedrunner. Programmer in the past, and I mean still today because engineering requires to program stuff. My wrists would probably be dead at 40. They're already about the wrists of a 50-year-old, so please take care of your wrists. I really should do that more myself. Now we go on an adventure in Clockwork Ruins Galaxy. This galaxy, one of the longest levels in the game, both in Green Stars and 90%. Green Star free, so we'll see now. It's a lot of platforming, a lot of precise jumps, so... Nice bulk. Oh, sure, that works, I guess. I didn't trust that long jump at all. Now we free the Luma here. As you may have noticed, we kind of skipped through the entire section by just ignoring the gravity switch again. And now we're getting to the end. But as you can see, even without that, the level is very long, and there's always a load of occasions for it to go wrong. Oh god. See? The level is unpredictable and really, really tough in general. Fortunately, Lug got bad RNG there with the positioning of the enemy. Okay, here we get two cutscenes at the same time, which is because I land and press the button at the same time, but normally we get only one first when you land. And then it's time to get this green star, which at some point caused me to lose a race. And I was real mad about it. But hey, you gotta learn your lessons from this. It's a jump into the abyss. If you miss it, you're dead. Like, there's nothing you can do to recover, you're dead. And you see the timer, that takes a good 2 minutes. Please slow. The other two stars are luckily a bit more quick and brief. The second one you might have seen. The first one even you might have seen in the opening cutscene. You see the weird momentum that's caused by just... That's not good. That's a bit of a time loss there. Especially losing time here can ruin both the cycles and the flow that you have. If you're running a game and you're running a level, sometimes making a mistake can just snowball into other mistakes because it just ruins the flow of how you're playing. If you're playing the video game ever, you probably experienced this. Like, everything is going fine, then a mistake leads to another, then leads to another, then leads to another, and suddenly everything's going bad. That's something very common. No, you don't need to hit the switch here. You just need to go up there. Because normally you would do it in a different way, but hey, sure. Whatever gets the stars. Normal people have whatever pays the bills. We have whatever gets the stars. Okay, we're getting towards the final stretch now. We're getting towards the final 20 stars. Now, Battle Belt is gonna come up really soon, and it is a really polarizing level, I guess, because if you see the level played by a, pardon me, but like, I don't mean it in an offensive way or anything, but a low-level runner, it's gonna be very boring. And the reason is that a lot of the optimizations are really tricky and hard to perform. Wait, okay. I mean, even now, I might not be at 100% when it comes to this game, but still I know the strategies, and the strategies there are really, really cool. There's cycle skips, there's planet skips, a lot of timing involved. But if you don't know any of these, it's just playing the same level 3 times. It's level as well, so it gets kind of boring. So I hope I will be able to entertain you well throughout that level. And it's a level, again, that there's a lot of depth to it. Way more than meets the eye when it comes to the first time play. Now, this level is on a timer, is on a cycle. The thwomp at the top, you see is moving, and then he stops there. Right there. Like, after we land. We want it to stay there as much as possible. Because we need him to be there to get the star. So I'm not gonna do anything that moves the camera until I get here. There we go. I even got a ledge grab, that was pretty nice. You see that I got a ledge grab on a moving enemy? And that does a lot of weird things to the momentum. So it's kind of hard to control Luigi in that status, because if the enemy moves, Luigi inherits the speed. It's really weird. So if you jump from a platform and the platform's momentum changes, you can inherit the momentum if you're in the air. So for instance, let's just take it to the real world. You're Luigi, you're long jumping from a car, right? In the Galaxy engine, the car just crashes and stops. If you're Luigi, your momentum gets stopped in the air. The momentum you have from the car, the momentum you have from the jump is still there. But it's just absolutely cursed, obviously. And it can create some really weird situations. Pop on Battlefield. Oh yeah, I kind of forgot to mention we're playing Super Mario 64 now. I mean, it's called Throwback for a reason. I'm also gonna show you guys something. I mean, it's normally I wouldn't go there in the run, right? But I'm gonna show you something now. It's gonna lose like 20 seconds or 10 seconds, whatever, but they're gonna see it. Oh, actually, you can see it in the cutscene. Or no, it's in the first mission. I cannot show you anymore. Damn it. Whatever. I can just tell you. In the first mission, the Comet Medal, which we haven't talked about because they're not present in this run, but normally any percent you need in any percent and in 120 stars, you need to collect a lot of Comet Medals to unlock the Comet stages. The Comet Medal is where the shooting to the wild blue star is, so that kind of rewards you a tiny bit for being a long-time fan. You're just gonna check there, and they're gonna see that, yeah, there's a Comet Medal, there's a payoff there. Alright, if you're a sucker for some kind of like nostalgia levels, oh, be prepared, because World Secret is a fan service fiesta, basically. You Canaless in Galaxy 2. Unfortunately, the stars are not the same. I mean, you fight the Wump King, but it's a kind of a bigger version. It's not the SF64's Wump King was kind of a pushover. This one is a 1 in Chaos, so yeah, that can be a bit harder. Now, Battle Belt. So this functions as a kind of like enemies rush. You have to kill the enemies in order to proceed to the next planet. Sometimes. Sometimes you can just game everything, because of course we do. Oh, come on. Okay. Alright, let's try here. I need this triple jump to work, and the camera is obviously absolutely atrocious, because God forbid the camera cooperates with us. Right, this was pretty good. This is all completely unintentional, but you can kill these Goombas with the Fire Flower, obviously. That was pretty good. So you can see I need to kill the enemies. Like casual enemies. All the time. And based on how good you do with the Fire Flower, sometimes you might want to get this star first. Because the Fire Flower cycle ran out. And to hope for a better kind of stroke of luck, because the crabs move around and it's RNG. So... what was that? My momentum got completely shifted. You know what? It worked in my favor. I don't know what the hell happened there, though. See, this game bamboozles myself in this sometimes. Ah, damn it. I cannot get the fast cycle now. Because I got hit. Whatever. No, I tried. You can get the fast cycle by killing all the enemies on the second before the third cycle hits. Now we have to play the entire stage again, minus the final enemies, so the ones where I missed the fast cycle. And then we have to play just the first part. So that's why it can get a bit boring, but maybe you'll be able to see a difference in how I approach the stage now, if the RNG gets a bit different. But normally people wouldn't go for the triple jump there, so... that triple jump can get pretty dicey sometimes, especially if you're not lined up well. I'm surprised I got it with the camera that I had, because it was absolutely atrocious. It was easily one of the worst cameras I've ever had at this level. And the camera position depends a lot on how you enter the launch star, so it's all kind of weird and wonky. That's also why we love this game. You see, oh god. Camera's horrible again. Okay, I don't know how I killed the third one. Luck. Sometimes it's down to that pure blind luck. Nice. Okay. I've done something that you've not seen me do a lot, but you can kill enemies by some enemies at least, by shooting at them with a star bit like this. Shoot the enemy. And then running into them. In that particular situation it made sense. Normally it's just easier to just jump on them, but sometimes it works. You see again, I'm ignoring this one because it got a decent Fire Flower cycle. Sometimes it's cool because you get Fire Flower cycles good on all times, even though the last time you're not actually using it. Damn it. Okay. This galaxy, I have to say, it's also home to one of the worst bosses in the entire series, like entire Mario series, which is Fiery Gobblegut. It is such a pain of a boss, where luckily it's only done in one category ever, that's 120 to 42 stars during the run together. But god, that boss is awful. It's really, really awful. A lot of runs die on it. Not necessarily the run dies, but you lose fight and you have to retry. It's really annoying. It's just this really, really annoying boss fight. That's due to how the boss fight works. It just spreads fire everywhere and you just need to keep on running whilst dodging the fire and dodging the enemies. It's just really, really tough. Tough for the wrong reasons, I guess. It can be really infuriating. Okay, this was definitely the worst Fire Flower cycle that I've had. I'm not even sure I would arrive there on the time with the Fire Flowers. I did, but it ran out almost immediately. So, if this happened before, like, whilst I was doing the first try, I would have gotten this star first. Okay. Now we're going to Sleepy Spring. You may ask, why is it called Sleepy Spring? Well, it's not a very interesting level, to put it bluntly. And we're lucky that in Green Stars you get to play only half of it, like the first half, and then the first quarter of it, just very quickly. But it's called the Sleepy Spring because you can imagine, especially in the 602, you're 20 hours in, 21 hours in, you're playing this stage and like, you're just falling asleep. Because all you do is ride a shell underwater. Legitimately. I don't know who was the game designer for this stage. That should definitely be booted. I hope they did get booted, because it's just not the best stage ever. Every game, I guess, has to have one stage where it's just not good. Okay, I even messed up here. And this game has this one. At least if it had SMG1's swimming mechanics, it would be more interesting, but no. You can imagine how this is not the best practice for a speedrunner, just like... I mean, for one thing it's nice, I guess, is just a chill level before World Secret and Galaxy Generator, which is a beast on its own. But it's not like... It's not this game's finest hour, let's put it that way. Okay, here I need to remember to not just do this. Okay. And go here, because if you enter the launch star, you're gonna be forced to exit enter the level. And that's not fun, especially on this level. Okay, now it's gone through. Now the second one is faster because the star is in the cavern section, so it's not gonna take too much. Then we're gonna move on to the finals, like rush of levels. It's the final 20 minutes-ish. It's gonna be a lot of action, loads and loads of interesting stuff. A lot of callbacks to previous Mario games as well, so that's also pretty cool. do stay tuned for the ending of this run, especially because at the end of it, we're gonna play the perfect run. And there was this thing that we were mentioning before, and I think now it's kind of the time to start talking about it. People were pushing before, alright, I can play the level in two ways, okay? I can just play it the normal way, quote unquote. But normal way, what do I mean by the normal way? The way I would play it in a run. So it uses some safe strats, still uses some speedrunning techniques, obviously, but it's more safe, it's more likely I'm gonna be able to finish it all at first try and easy it. Or get the start with.
Do we have time for a quick donation?
Yeah, we do. We do.
We have a $7 donation from A Small Mouse, donating to get Xandra and Fire Emblem 3 houses. Thank you so much for your donation.
Now, with Slimy Spring or Sleepy Spring finally behind us, we're able to enter Galaxy Generator. And from now on, every stage will be pretty tough, with a lot of stuff going on. There's also a boss rush at some point, but it doesn't feel nearly as bad as Slimy Spring, trust me. Especially because the cutscenes are skippable, so the bosses just go by one after another really easily and quickly. It's actually kind of cool, I guess, to see. But now, this is the final level of the game. Or final level of the game, quote unquote. This is when you beat any percent. And we're gonna do a few skips right off the bat. Like this first one is just a lava boost. Again, exploiting the vertical wall here to just get a lot of momentum going. Then this entire section, I'm gonna get rid of this power down. Sorry to any lovers of the drill power up. It's power down. And just move around. We don't really need this. And then the rest is just pure platforming. Get to the end ASAP. You don't need the clouds even there. It is, as you can see. That's a good save. Now I will try to keep the clouds here, and you will see why now. Now normally the star is like around here. You see it there, shining there. Normally you would require two clouds to get it, like casually. You can also use a Yoshi flutter, obviously, but my approach is a bit more direct. I would have missed, so that's good that I have a second cloud, because it requires you to be on a pretty precise trajectory on that long jump to make it. So it's good to have always two clouds to back it up in case it fails. Because depending on the frame you jump, you receive more or less momentum. It's kind of hard to back it up. It's not something you can control easily. Let's put it that way. Now the first star is obtained much earlier here. So you might have seen it very briefly when they did the lava boost, but we'll use a tech to get it. It's covered by fellow runner Jerome. Actually, I'm Jerome. Okay, I got a hit, so that means I'm gonna have to kill one of these enemies to be able to perform a skip. Okay. That was a pretty clean kill, so I didn't waste too much time. Okay, there's a star. Okay, you just get a boost and bounce into the star. That's not the easiest thing to master, but once you do, it's pretty good. Lava boosts in this game are generally pretty cool. I gotta be able to show it. Okay. Now, Mario Squared. Well, thank you very much for that. It's really appreciated. Let's go into this level, which is a fairly simple level, actually. There is not much that can be done, but we're still gonna try to push the boundaries a bit, because it's just a flat version of Mario. And the green stars are just hidden under some disappearing platforms, like one is here and one's there. So, what I want to do is just get there ASAP and then wait for the platform to fall, right? Well, no, because I'm gonna try to perform a tech called backwalk, where you just slide off an edge and invert the direction as you're sliding off. So the momentum that you get from the Luigi braking animation is transferred to you, so you just slide off the ledge and immediately go backwards at full speed. So that allows me to get the star much quicker than if I were to wait for the platform to disappear. And for the other one, there's another jump that's pretty tight, where we just jump off and then spin back into the underside of Mario, so we can just get the star. Ah, damn it, I missed the star. Unfortunate. It is really, really tight, so it's one of those things where people just sometimes tell me, why do you go for this, Alaeus? And I'm like, of course, I'm gonna have to push this, right? Yeah, sometimes it just happens as well. I can show you just... So that sounds like a real pain to do with Mario, and yeah, that would be right. As I said, I don't have a recorded account of somebody trying to run this with Mario. It's just... I don't know. Luigi's just... physics behave better in general. It's... Mario feels better to newcomers because it's more predictable, but Luigi, once you know how Luigi works... Yeah, Luigi all the way. Okay, Rolling Coaster. Home to one of the worst casual green stars ever. In fact, it forces speedrunners to go for it first. Not necessarily forces, but most people prefer to go for it first in case you fail, you have a backup. And I will try to do momentum carry and jump, so I will try to jump on frame 1 on landing so I can carry all the speed here. We'll see if it works. Not this one, obviously, but the one landing here. Nope. You only have one frame to jump there again, so it's not the easiest thing to do. But if it happens, it's really cool. It's really cool. Sometimes you can carry it twice, and if you can carry it twice, you can really gain a lot of time. Now, this part is basically RNG with the enemy's positioning, but I still got it. I mean, I did play this for a long time, obviously, so do keep in mind. And this is something that I think is very important for anybody that approaches a speedrun. Speedrunners do put a lot of time in practicing games, and as such they can appear as people just inhuman in that. But if you go full beans on the game for a year, you'll be surprised at what you can get out of yourself. That's not something for everybody, but generally I think people have this kind of view for speedruns that are this kind of elite member of people. Anybody can become a speedrunner. Anybody can do a speedrun. You might not be super good at it maybe, but it's just a hobby at the end of the day. It's like swimming, alright? You can take up swimming. Doesn't mean you're gonna be the best swimmer in the world. But you can still take up swimming and have fun with it. It's that same way. It's not an elite club that you have to be invited in order to enter. It's a hobby, and as such, I always invite people to like, I have interest in speedrunning, but I think I'm gonna do bad. No way. Like, of course you're gonna do bad if you go in with that attitude. You gotta go in and believe in yourself. First things first. Alright, this is technically, if you don't know the reference, this entire stage is a callback to Super Mario Kart's Rainbow Road. Alright. Indeed. It's kind of... It's this thing like you have to play more to play less. It's kind of a weird trade-off, in a way. You're playing more of the game to be able to play the game less. Okay, so if you've played Super Mario Sunshine, this level will feel familiar. And don't worry, if you thought the Sunshine collision in this level was bad, the Galaxy collision is way worse. It's like golf, yeah. It's really hard to master, but anybody can play it. And who knows, maybe you'll be able to master it and become a really good player. You just don't know. Okay, my momentum got eaten there. Luckily I still had the clouds, so not a big deal. Like this entire section, the music is from Galaxy 1. The level itself and its inspiration is from Super Mario Sunshine, obviously. It's the Rico 4 secret stage. Then again, after this we're gonna have Stone Cyclone, which is from Galaxy 1. So this entire section is dedicated to callbacks from previous games. Damn it. Okay. Yep. It includes some of the hardest things from previous games, and then it adds in the first truly like monster level in Mario history. At least in 3D Mario history. I know other 2D Marios have had really hard to find, like a World 9 or World Star, a lot of 2D Mario games. But this is the first time a 3D Mario game has a truly final test course, in a way. And the weird way they played it out is, you will see when I play Flip Out Green Star 2, Flip Out kind of feels like that end course. Flip Out kind of feels like this tough level, but then you finish it and you're like, but wait, there's more! Yes, this does exactly that. Taking the controls of a game, putting it into another. It's really cool. I just feel that these aren't, oddly enough, these are not the right stages to do so. Like, when a stage is really iconic to one game, it's really, really hard to push them to another game. You get what I mean? Like, it's made for, like, Rico 4, it's made for SMS. It doesn't really work with Galaxy. I feel like throwback out of these, like putting One Fortress and Galaxy works best of these stages. But some of the stages, I don't know, like, I would have appreciated a full stage from Sunshine, say, or like a particular level. I don't know, that would have fit better. I cannot think about it off the top of my head, but obviously this is not done for like. Alright, so Now I'm doing again. I'm skipping over a bunch of kind of tiny things that I'm doing here, but most of the things that you see here are movement and exploitation of mechanics we've previously talked about. Okay, Luigi kind of just got jammed there. Can happen. Okay. I saved it there. Oh damn it! I tried to pivot around, but I couldn't do it in time. See. This being very fast obviously has some problems. If it didn't, it would be a hard level, would it? Okay, no. How did I die? Sure. Sometimes this game is a mystery. Sometimes you can get squished, even though you're not in the squishable area, if you know what I mean. Okay. As a star. Alright. Yeah, that level normally is hell. 100%. If you see a bit more of it in Galaxy 1, I guess. But... Alright, we got the final 4 stars. Now, one of them is a boss, part of a boss rush. So you're gonna see it here. First you're gonna see 3 bosses, then 2. But, again, these level consists of 5 bosses taken from Galaxy 1. We're gonna play the first 3 bosses and then the first 2 bosses. The best part about it is that everything is rapid fire, so you see here. Lucky for me, I know how to play Galaxy 1, so I have double the experience for this boss fights. See, everything is very rapid fire. As you can see, everything is done so that you stand closest to the stars, so you can just go and kill the next one. It's all very fast. See a very well-hidden star here. Okay, now, time for some strategy here. People didn't know if you shoot major burrows with some star bits, will stop it. So... you can see here, I'm stopping him and then pulling in with star bits. Now, I started the fight here, but I don't need to do the fight. The star is right here, so we're gonna get it and move on. You see the black boo being like there. Be kinda derpy. Alright, now we're gonna have to play to get the star that I pointed out being very well hidden the first 2 bosses, but as you can see, it's not a particularly time-consuming effort. And after that we can get to the final, not-so-final stage. Looks like we will be well within the estimate, so bar any catastrophes happening flip out, should be good to go. Sometimes the tail here can glitch out or just move around. It's just taking a normally long time to just go and hit Kiwi Piranha in the head. It's just weird. It just goes and just shows you that, well, whatever, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. I think it has to do with the collision mechanism that's used by the game to prevent it from just not hitting Kiwi. So it's kind of weird. It just behaves in an abnormal way to force the game to hit it. Alright. And we're good to go. Okay, now Flip Out is... It's just 2 missions. One of them is really easy. And one of them is really hard. I will do a technique that's very rarely used in this game. It's more used in Galaxy 1. That's called Spin Jump Cancel, which does exactly what you think. I just spin, and before Luigi can start the spin animation, I cancel it with a jump. What it does is, it removes the speed loss penalty from the spin, but it still gives me all the advantages of a spin. Namely, if I spin here, the platforms that are out go in, so they hear the blue platform comes out and the red platforms go in. And I still want to do that without a speed loss. I mean, this situation I don't really care because I still need to get back here, get this star. But in the main stage, which you will see now, it's gonna matter a lot. It allows you to carry way more speed throughout some sections. It can go wrong, do keep in mind. Sometimes you just jump too late, sometimes you jump too early, sometimes you just jump at the right time, but since the platform is moving underneath you, it carries you back towards the wall in a spin bonk. A lot can go wrong. But this stage, if it goes well, it's one of the most satisfying stages to do. And I hope it goes well so you can see truly how beautiful the stage is. I really love it, even though it has given me a tough time in the past. But we'll see this time. So you saw here, I just cancelled it with a long jump, so I was able to long jump into the pipe immediately. Now for this final stretch, also time is coming up whenever I say time, obviously at this point we're at the final level in the game. I must add, before I forget about it. That was the wrong place to... exactly, that's what I meant by can go wrong. I did one too many there. Oh, and there are not a lot of checkpoints in this level as well, so that's why I can give you that kind of feel like end game level. There is ping pong. And time.
GG on that amazing run.
Alright, now let's get down to business. Because we still have an incentive to satisfy, am I right?
Yep.
Alright, then. 317.37, not too bad considering the sleep deprivation and the distinct lack of motivation to that until a couple of days ago, but I was still able to pull through, and it was a pretty good run considering it's a marathon setting, so pretty nice. Oh, trust me, if you think that was intense, wait. Wait and see. Alright, so now we're at 240 stars, right? I want to show you something before you go. And now you will see this stage is unlocked, being the Grandmaster Galaxy. Now, if you complete... I'm gonna go to the Wii menu now and load another save because I'm not gonna complete the Grandmaster, the final challenge stage, which is the perfect run, but without the one-hit condition. I'm just gonna load another save and go direct to the perfect run. And
Is
we will
going
see.
for IL stretch still an option?
You pick it, guys. You have time to decide. I'm gonna do one thing that's gonna sound weird at the start. I'm gonna kill myself immediately to reset the cycles. But after that, everything's game. If you want me to go for full bean style stuff, I'm up for it. I think a lot of people want me to go for full bean style strats. I do not guarantee anything with the full bean stuff because it's really hard. But I'm gonna try my best. So, oh. All right, let's go. Actually, no, I don't need to do the immediate death because I have IL cycles now, so. Ah, damn it. I mean, I'm still gonna be able to save it probably. That was a good save. I lost a bit of momentum there. That's the hard part with that flutter. You need to carry on momentum even though you're weaving between the mines. So, fortunately, I had to slow down at the end and I had to save it, but it was still a good save. Here, I'm able to do this by just walking on a seam, so it doesn't reset the button. I just walk on the seam, so I am on ground, but I'm not on the platform. So if you click a button that's already clicked, you reset it. But by walking on the seam of the platform, you don't reset the platform itself. Now this is a tiny skip. That's fun. This section can be deceptively annoying, especially if you're under nerves. And at the end of it, so here, there's a very important point that we call actually one of the most important points of the level. So if you're able to carry this jump to the launch star with 3 clouds, you're well set for the part now, because you want to keep those clouds, at least one of those clouds for the end. Now, you've asked me to go full beans here, so I'll go full beans. By using some of the clouds immediately to skip some sections. I'll try to keep 1 cloud for the end, which I wasn't able to do here because I missed the direction of the long jump. This is gonna complicate things a tiny bit, but it shouldn't be too much. Okay, this is the second to last section. Causes a lot of problems casually, but it's not actually super hard, I would say. Whoop. If you know this trick, so you can just bamboozle the game and go over a lot of the obstacles by just, well, getting over it. Now, I didn't get optimal momentum there, so I'm just gonna do this again. Kinda takes it away from the challenge, but it's a cool, interesting... Is there a flutter to skip the tile section? There is a flutter that does a very interesting thing, but I am not gonna describe it to you because I don't know exactly how it works. And I'd rather just tell you that it exists, but not give you a wrong description than just like trying to BS my way through it. Now this is the bullet hell part of it. Some people like to stand down here. I like to finish his style. Crouching around is not really my thing. Oh, hello, Rosalina. We're done here. I'm just gonna do something really cool and do this because not a lot of people know it's there. And we're done. Alright.
First try doing one for IL strats.
Yeah, the central section and losing the cloud can really be hard at the end, because normally the cloud allows you to skip the flipping platform sections that almost killed me, but we did it. Fortunately, lost a bit of time. Time wasn't really that great, but hey, when you go for IL stuff, you're bound to lose some time if, on a no reason. So, there you have it. This was Green Stars and the perfect run. Again, if you are interested in more Galaxy runs, there's a lot of runners you can follow online. The category, as I always say, like just click the category on Twitch. You'll always find somebody playing it. And if you really like long runs, this is short compared to my average. You can always go for the 602 or other multi-Mario categories. I'm a proud runner of these categories. I think it's really interesting. It's a branch of speedrunning that's kind of niche, I guess. Very long runs, but it's really cool to see. So, yeah, I think I can end it to you, Freya, and last thanks to all the community for the game. They've always been really awesome people, and yeah,
GG, and
best
thank
of luck
you for
to
that
them.
amazing run.
You're welcome.
And next up, we are going to have AlaeusSR running Mr. Bones, and we are going to be passing off the host to Leggy Starscream. So stay tuned for more awesome runs all weekend.